We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
You're excited. Feel these nipples.
That boy's good.
Good and terrible.
Well, I have a microphone, and you don't.
So you will listen to every damn word I have to say!
This is the Mike Rutherford Show on the Big X.
The sportos, motorheads, geek bloods, wastoids, dweebies, they all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
The Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, your trusted partner for commercial and industrial HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration. Call United Mechanical at 502-339-1133.
Well, I'll stand up next to him now and then, and I'll chop it down with the edge of my hand.
Hey! All right. Welcome in, everybody. It is Thursday, April 23rd. This is the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus. We're coming to you live from the world-famous University of Louisville College of Business Studios here in the heart of Deal Agreed Upon, Louisville, Kentucky. Cards fans looking for a competitive advantage in today's data-driven world, look no further than earning your master's in business analytics from the University of Louisville, something you can now accomplish in just 12 months. There's no previous coding experience required. Delve into the world of data visualization and analytics, learning essential tools like R, Python, Power BI, machine learning, and more. These classes are now available both online or in person. To get started or to learn more, visit business.louisville.edu today. We're on the air from 2:33 until 5:30 today here on 1450 AM, 96.1 FM, streaming across the land, including on the Big X Sports Radio Louisville YouTube page, airing live on WBNA Channel 21. You know us better as the Big X. It's Mike Rutherford. It's Roman Kelly. It's a Thursday edition of the show here on the Big X as we react to a big-time contract extension for Jeff Braum at the University of Louisville. The great Floyd Street standoff of 2026, which some have blamed us for, has come to an end. We've got that done. We've got details on that front. I've got a little bit of a transfer portal scoop to talk about today. A little bit. Just a little bit. It's just us talking. We won't share it. We'll keep it right here. We'll talk about that. We've got a beautiful, beautiful day. I'm headed to John Rutherford's T-ball game right after this. Going to enjoy a little Blue Jay T-ball action. Excited for that. We've got the NHL and the NBA both back in action tonight with the playoffs happening. We'll get Roman Kelly's thoughts on last night's NBA happenings. We got the NFL draft going down tonight. Seems unlikely that we'll hear Chris Bell's name called tonight, but he does appear to be well positioned to be a Friday draft pick. We'll give a little bit of a breakdown of where the various mock drafts have not just Chris Bell, but a couple of other U of L players potentially having their names called over the next 3 days. We'll get into all that good stuff. We'll hear from you on the Gameday Men's Health text line. As always, 502-414-1450 is the number there. Questions, comments, concerns, topic ideas, whatever you got today, we will take it there. Roman Kelly in the house, producing the hell out of the show, per usual. Listen to him every day from 2 to 2:30 right here on Running with Roman. Y'all also hear him today from 5:30 to 6:30 on the three-man front, talking all things Louisville Kings. Dramatic week for the Kings. You're going to want to tune in today to hear what the fellas, Roman, Matt, and the other guy, Grant. I know your name now. I just like referring to you as the other guy. We'll say for the next hour or so. Give Roman a follow on Twitter at RomyBean. Roman, how are you, buddy?
Doing well. I'm excited to chat with us about these good news. The good news we got today about Jeff Braum and his contract. Fun night last night watching some NBA blowouts, making some money there on some of those games.
Did you make money?
I did. Hit some of our triple punch bets last night as well. Missed our NHL bet, but that's how it is. NHL's been a little bit unpredictable in these playoffs so far.
I think we both said Pistons would cover and Suns would cover.
Yep.
So I feel good about that.
Suns looked like they weren't going to. And then they rallied back there at the end. Outside of that, though, nothing too crazy. Just getting prepared for the weekend. It seems like we've got like a lot of things planning for the next couple of days, next few days of life, and then obviously next week's supposed to be super hectic. So been coordinating with Matt what shifts and whatnot we're going to be in here and who's doing what. It's that time of year.
It is that time of year. It'll be, Derby week's always hectic. I think it's a little bit less hectic for us than it is for the morning guys because, a lot of the morning shows will go out to the backside, and you got owners running around, you got horses working out, you got some celebs pacing around, and by the time you get to the afternoon, it's already kind of died down. It's about the actual racing of Derby week. So it's a little bit different for us doing the afternoon show. But yeah, I'm going to be at the track a couple of days. I know Roman's going to be out there. Standard Friday, Oaks. Roman using the press pass. Big media roaming around, getting drunk, calling into the show. We had reached out. Dan Cronin hit me up today, Fat Bald Guy Racing, wanting to come on the show next week. So we'll talk to him. Maybe we'll get David Levitch on. Bless him. Bless us with an appearance as he talks about his Derby picks. But it's a crazy week. And then the weird thing about life around here is I think you always have the Derby stuff going on. And the listeners kind of vary in terms of how much they want to hear about Derby. Some people don't want to hear about it at all. Some people love that you kind of deviate from the norm and focus on this big week. But then I feel like there's always big Louisville news that pops up during Derby week, particularly when it comes to basketball. It used to be stay or go draft declaration decisions. You know, I remember being at the track on Derby Day and hearing my Kentucky fans going nuts because Alex Poitras was coming back for another year. Like it was a huge thing. So in the middle of the biggest sporting event in the city of Louisville, you still have basketball news out there. I would not be shocked at all if, we're running around, I'm here or you're here or one of us is gone, whatever, and we get a huge transfer portal piece of news next week. Like, and just wrecks all the Derby talk, wrecks all the fun stuff. I wouldn't put it past the city. That's the way that things go around here. Like I said earlier, we'll get into the Gameday Mens Health text line coming up mostly in hour number 2. We'll start today talking to Jeff. First of all, I've got to, before we get into the Braum stuff, Roman, I'm sore as hell. We had dance practice today, back-to-back dance practices, and my partner, Cherie, she's going to Belize for a couple of weeks. So we wanted to really hit it hard today, go through the full routine multiple times.
Nice.
I mean, dude, like, there are muscles that I forgot that I had that are just popping right now, that are sore as hell, and I haven't even, it's going to be worse tomorrow once I sleep on it, but usually we've been kind of going, like, walking through stuff, like getting moves down, kind of figuring out what we want to do, getting stuff in rhythm with the music. Today we kind of tried to do it almost full go. And I mean, I'm sweating. I'm struggling. I'm moving around a little bit slower at the end, a little bit out of breath. Heart rate going up, hitting in the 120s there by the end of the dance. It was a lot.
Yeah.
But we're feeling good. We're making progress. That's the big thing, Rob.
I just now got, I'm getting back to the point now in my recovery with my knee where I'm fully sprinting, fully cutting on the basketball court.
Dancing?
I mean, I like to dance a little bit. But in the gym, when I do workout, I can actually kind of go all out again, and I haven't been able to do so. And I had my ab workout on Tuesday. I'm feeling that today.
I'm sure.
Each cough or laugh or anything that I do, it's like, oh, yeah, I worked out my abs on Tuesday. Probably a little bit too intensely. But it's like that good kind of sore, right? It means you made an effect on yourself, which is what you want to be doing. So I get where you're at a little bit, but for different reasons.
A little bit of news that's just breaking here as we're going on the air. This is via Eric Crawford. Apparently, Louisville president Jerry Bradley is asking trustees for a formal reconciliation with the Papa himself, John Schnatter. The Papa might be back in the house, Roman.
Really?
Yes. How do we feel about this?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to feel about this.
The Pop is one of the weirdest guys alive. I think we all, whether you like him, you don't like him, you thought he got a raw deal, you thought he got what was coming to him, I think we can all agree Papa's a weirdo. Absolute weirdo. The stories that go around the city about Papa John never cease to amaze or entertain me. Is it worse getting back into bed with Papa than it would be getting into bed with private equity folks? Like, we're talking about degrees of evil here. Evil's maybe too strong, but there's something.
Some of the things I've heard he said.
Yeah, I mean, awful things. But
if that can get you to a Final Four.
This is my default at this point in life. This is where I go to, where I'm like, if you look hard enough at any company, you go up the ladder high enough, you're going to find a money guy that's not a good person. Everything's backed by evil people at some point. And so that's the way that I justify taking money. The good that taking Papa's money could do for the entire city of Louisville. and some really good athletes and coaches that are great human beings maybe outweighs the negative of having to have him directly affiliated with the athletic program again. Did I sell you?
Yes.
Okay. Eric Crawford also has a quote from Jerry Bradley, the new president of U of L, that says, U of L now acknowledges the university would have approached the situation differently based on our current understanding, and believe the best way forward is to unite in our shared commitment to supporting U of L. Did he say
That means, look, he's not allowed to come to the games or sit courtside or anything, but if he wants to continue to give money, we'll take it.
I don't know, man. I mean, he's basically saying new information's come to light, which, I mean, like this wasn't, the audio was out there, right? Like we all heard it. We all heard what he said, which led to Neely Bendapudi ultimately saying your name's off the stadium. I mean, what's the current understanding of what took place that's changed between now and, 7 years ago?
The connotations on those types of consequences haven't changed.
The comment itself, I think, is still the same. I don't think that you can spin that into, he was rapping. Like we know what he said. He said it, but they are, they're looking for money, and Papa's got some.
It's got to be a lot. It must be a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
because what changed?
He was set up.
Say
I mean, okay. Lie to me. Tell me it was AI. Like I want to believe. I want to buy into it.
I don't know. I think he's a terrible person. Terrible people don't deserve to be in notable places like this.
Yeah.
I don't like terrible people having an impact on Louisville athletics.
You could have just stopped right there. I don't like once again, Rutherford Show bold take. We're willing to say what other people won't say. The Rutherford Show is officially against terrible people. We don't like terrible people. End sentence. There it is, right there.
So whatever you got to do, you got to do. But over here on this side, we don't prefer it.
Matt is texting us both. He's got things to say about Papa Murphy's right now, which I still have him in my phone as Mart Childress.
Producer Keith sent me a text. I can't even read.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think we're going to get a lot when it comes down to it. This is not the way that I expected to start today's show, but Papa might be back in the house at some point soon. I mean, imagine the – so you're too young to, I think, remember this, but I believe the video is still out there somewhere. When he re-upped on his naming rights for the stadium and I think also agreed to a bigger donation or something along those lines, they brought him out during halftime of one of the football games, and he came like in front of the stadium in his Camaro, doing burnouts in his Camaro.
I remember.
They're like, "Here comes the Papa," and he was like, and everyone's like, "What the?" Like complete just ego deal. And then he gets out there, and he and Tom Jurich like join hands and like raise hands together, and then walk out on the field. It's one of the most surreal, ridiculous things I've ever seen. I can't imagine what he's going to want to do if he agrees to be brought back into the financial fold for U of L athletics. Like he may parachute down from the scoreboard into his Camaro and then drive it out to midfield and do donuts on the field, and we'll all be like, "Okay, cool, man. Like, whatever. Just get us a point guard. Get us a quarterback for next season. Bring Isaac Braum back for his senior year. Do something." The big news today, though, obviously, Jeff Braum locked in for the future at U of L. He's agreed to the contract extension. We kind of believed this was going to happen. What'd you just send me? Is this need to know stuff?
Not necessarily. Just interesting.
Crawford also says, not athletics, but Bradley also said he asked for permission to commission portraits of past presidents James Ramsey and Neely Bendapudi in Grawemeyer Hall. I mean, that just says to me that he wants a picture of himself when he's done. Like, that'd be like me coming out there and being like, I have commissioned a statue for who's on the afternoon before I got here.
Me.
Roman, whoever was doing the show before me. Like, TJ Walker has walked away from the Big X. I would like a gold-plated statue of him in front of the him and Roush, which would basically just be me saying, when I leave the Big X, God forbid, I want a gold statue of myself when I'm gone. I did it for them. Whoever's next up needs to do it for me. That's what's happening here. But Jeff Braum agreed to a contract extension. Like I said, the great Floyd Street standoff of 2026 has come to an end. Jeff Braum has agreed to a contract extension that will keep him at Louisville through the 2033 season. The agreement was approved earlier today by the U of L Athletic Association. Josh Hurd said this in an official statement: over the past 3 seasons, Jeff has clearly demonstrated that he is the right person to lead our football program now and into the future. He understands what it means to represent the University of Louisville on the field and in this community. Jeff is building a culture rooted in accountability, development, and competitive excellence. I am confident in the direction of our program and excited about what the future holds under his leadership. The deal that has now been put into place will pay Braum, $8.1 million per season. I think starting in, if you average it all out, it'll be $8.1 million with incentives factored in starting in next year. Next year, he's set to make $6.3 million. That will steadily increase up until the 2033 season. Here are the retention bonuses that make that overall salary up there in the 8 range. He'll get $250K in 2026, $750K in 2027, and then $1 million annually just for coming back from 2028 through 2032. He also has some standard bonuses, some performance incentives. If you get, I guess these are the changes. If you win 6 games and go to a bowl game, previously Roman, we had given him a $100,000 bonus. If he wins 6 games and goes to a bowl now, $0. We're not rewarding him for Beef O'Brady's bowl anymore. Do you like that?
I think so.
If he goes to a Tier 1 bowl game, one of those 4 top ACC bowl games outside of the playoff, he'll get $250,000. If he's an ACC champion, he'll get $250,000. If he wins a Coach of the Year award, conference or national, he gets $50,000. I feel like that should be more.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Academic benchmarks, APR, GPA, he'll get a little bit of a boost apparently. If Louisville goes to the college football playoff, this is where the big money comes in. I like the way the contract is structured here because Josh Hurd is basically saying, you want the big bonuses, you want the big money, you're going to have to earn it by doing what we're asking you to do with this new financial commitment, which is go to the playoff. You go to the CFP, $500,000. You go to the quarterfinals of the CFP. Either you start there or you win a game in the first round and go to the quarterfinals, $1 million.
Sheesh.
You go to the semifinals, $1.25 million. You go to the championship game, $1.5 million. You win a national title, $2 million. I like this. I like the notion of we're not giving you anything for going 7-5 and going back to the Bean Bowl next year. Like, cool. We're not Kentucky. You know, what's his name? Stoops had those gigantic bonuses for winning 7 games every year, which is part of the reason why they scheduled the way that they did. No. If you want the new NIL commitment.
But we're going to give him $250K if he makes the Pop-Tart Bowl?
No, it's not a Tier 1 bowl. I don't think. Whatever the 4 Tier 1 bowls are, like the Gator Bowl, the whatever, if he goes to one of those,
okay,
he gets $250K. If he goes to one of like the 8 lower tier bowls, so for instance last year, he would have gotten no bonus for going to the Bean Bowl. Go 8-4, win the Bean Bowl, 0 bonuses whatsoever. You weren't a champion, you weren't a coach of the year.
Bare minimum expectation.
Didn't go to a Tier 1 bowl game. We're not rewarding that anymore. What we are going to reward heavily is going to the college football playoff, which has become, we think, a more attainable goal based on the financial commitments that have been made to the football program, which I'm good with. The other things that are out there, you were asking yesterday about the buyout. If Louisville fires Jeff Braum, he will be owed 100% of his remaining salary. What? Right now.
Yeah. On that day.
For the next 3 years, I think that's the deal. If he's fired before December 31st, 2029, he'll get 90% of what he's owed and 100% of what he's owed after that. That's the deal. If he leaves, the buyout is kind of, we said maybe they would meet in the middle. I was told they were going back and forth between $1 million and $5 million. So if he leaves Louisville before December 31st, 2027, he has a $3 million buyout. So they split the difference. They went right in the middle. If he leaves Louisville after December 31st, 2027, the buyout goes down to $1 million. That shouldn't be a big deal one way or the other, right?
No. If
a school wants Jeff Braum, they're not worried about $3 million. If Louisville wants Jeff Braum gone, it's going to cost them a little bit more based on this deal. And I think that's kind of what Jeff was hoping for. Other notable pieces, the staff salary pool has gone up by $750,000. People are asking why, wouldn't you bring Ron English back? Why wouldn't you go out and hire a big-time defensive coordinator? They didn't have the money to go out there and bolster the staff if they wanted to use some of that money for roster building. Now, they've got they got $750,000 to hire more staff moving forward or to give their current staff raises if they have a great year. That includes strength staff, recruiting guys, assistant coaches, obviously. They will also have bonuses, the support staff will, for top 25 finishes, participation in an ACC title game, and academic performance. So these are the details that we're getting right now. It sounds like a good deal for all parties concerned. The biggest deal, I think, for us as fans, if we don't want to get bogged down by the numbers and the details and all that good stuff, is just that it's done. There will be no, hey, Jeff is disgruntled, Jeff is pissed off, maybe Jeff's distracted, and that's affecting the 2026 season. And there also won't be any if Louisville starts off 10-0 and is ranked in the top 5 going into the end of the season, and Florida looks like they're going to need a coach, or Auburn's going to need a new coach, or whoever. There won't be any, they're going to go out there and throw the book at Jeff Braum. We know that he's here for at least the immediate future, and that's comforting. Now, what this also does, I think, is ramp up the pressure on Jeff to deliver a little bit. There was always going to be pressure in year 4 when it felt like we were so close the last 3 seasons to achieving something great. There was always going to be pressure to take that next step and move Louisville, get rid of the bad losses, get rid of we're close to the playoff in November, and then we just kind of fall on our face over the last 3 weeks of the season. That gets ramped up now. I think the entire fan base, if you have another situation like the Cal game last year or the Clemson game last year, where you're playing a team that you're supposed to beat and you do everything possible to not put that opponent away, not only do you have fans who are like, I'm not sure that Jeff's the right guy for this, you have fans now that say, this is the guy that we went all in and invested in. This is the guy that we made one of the 20 highest paid coaches in college football. This is the guy that we made the 5th highest paid coach in the ACC. Not getting the results that back that up. $8 million seems like a lot of money to go out there and win 8 games. $1 million per win seems like a bad return on investment for Josh Hurd. There's added pressure on Jeff now, I think, and I think he's gotten essentially what he's wanted to this offseason. Now, Josh Hurd is saying give the fans what they want, which is a trip to the college football playoff. Let me ask you straight up, Roman. Do you think that that's where the expectation should be for year 4, given all that's happened during this offseason?
It's tough to say yes with a quarterback who has not done anything near that, but yeah. Outside of what you can kind of have for the expectation on Keenholz, yes.
So you're saying playoff or bust?
No.
I'm saying
you need to be fighting for the playoff. You need to have a chance at the playoff the entirety of the season.
That's where I am. I don't want to get to playoff or bust. I do want to get to playoff or bust, but I think at this point, given what Louisville has been historically, given what the roster is, I think at the very least, Louisville should be in the mix and should be one of those teams that is seen as having a legitimate chance to play in the college football playoff by the time we get close to the end of November. I think that should be, if we're not, something has gone terribly wrong, and I think that there will be justified.
There's also going to be question marks on the
discontent.
defense after this season, too, right?
Sure.
So,
yeah,
we got to take advantage of this defense.
Let's take a break. When we come back, a little bit more football talk, and then we'll get into some transfer portal stuff going on. Getting texts as the show's going on about some interesting things. We'll dive into that after the break. It's the Mike Rutherford Show, Thursday edition here, 1450 96.1. This is Big X Sports Radio. don't you know? You say you don't know. Jeff Braum's home. 3 o'clock hour, Rutherford Show, 1450, 96.1, Big X Sports Radio. Roman Kelly's in the house, producing the absolute hell out of the show per usual. Roman, are you ready for some April 23rd birthdays?
Yes.
We only do this. We're too lazy to look it up ourselves. This is when Corey Price leaves his notes behind. So let's get to it. It is I don't even know who this is. Former Kentucky football player Winston Guy. Do you remember Winston Guy?
Yeah.
I don't think I do.
Don't remember Winston
The
Guy.
name kind of, okay, whatever. He's 36. Former Louisville football player Sam Madison. Former Dolphins legend. Dolphins guy will love this. One of the greatest defensive backs to ever play at Louisville. How old do you think he is?
38.
52. Filmmaker Michael Moore did Fahrenheit 9/11, Bowling for Columbine. Was kind of a big deal.
Fahrenheit 9/11?
Yeah, it was kind of a big deal in like the mid-2000s. And
60.
he is 72. I have friends I have a friend whose family has a lake house right next to Michael Moore's. It's very nice. Wrestler John Cena. You can't see him, Roman. How old is he?
43.
49.
Jeez.
Actor and comedian George Lopez.
64.
Oh, one off. 65. Famous events on this day. It's all just draft stuff from Corey Price here. Joe Burrow was taken by the Bengals with the number 1 overall pick in 2020. I'm trying to find. Okay, since 2000, Roman, how many quarterbacks have been selected number 1 overall in the NFL draft? So out of 26 drafts,
8.
How many quarterbacks have been taken number 1 overall? 8 is your guess?
14.
Very close. I mean, kind of close. Closer. 19 is the correct answer. I would have gone a little bit lower, too. I would have guessed probably like 14, 15. I'm surprised that it's been that many quarterbacks.
I feel like it's a bunch of edge rushers and offensive linemen and stuff.
It's about to be number 20, I think, tonight. Since 2000, what is the only school to have a number 1 pick in the NFL on both offense and defense? I don't think I would have gotten this one either.
Oregon.
No. Oregon's defense sucks.
Florida.
Georgia. Matt Stafford, God love him forever, 09. And then Travon Walker on the defensive line in 2022. Last one, since 2000, what are the 3 schools to have at least 2 quarterbacks taken first overall in the NFL draft?
LSU.
Yes, Jamarcus Russell and Joe Burrow.
Ohio State.
Incorrect. Good guess, though. A lot of quarterbacks there. One is, okay, both of these schools have changed conferences recently. I don't know if that helps you.
Michigan.
No, Michigan's not changed conferences recently.
I don't know.
Oklahoma.
Ah, duh.
Sam Bradford in 2010.
And Texas.
Nope. Baker Mayfield in 2018 and Kyler Murray in 2019. And then USC. Carson Palmer, 2003. Caleb Williams
I probably should have known that one.
2024. This is kind of a crazy fact, too. Since 2004, different schools from the state of California have had at least one player selected as the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. He says, can you name those 4 schools? I'm not looking at the answers, so we know USC is one.
Yeah. Had a number 1 overall pick?
Yes.
Did Luck go number 1?
Luck went number 1 overall, so
There's
Stanford.
2.
Aaron Rodgers was number 1 right at Cal.
I was going to say that Cal had I don't know who it was.
So what's the other school in California? It's not UCLA, I don't think. Who are we missing? USC, UCLA, Cal, Stanford. Was it UCLA? Is there another D1 school?
I can't think of any quarterback in that jersey that looks that was successful.
I can't think of it. I know the text line's probably blowing up. I'm looking at it right now. Where's the question? Okay, so Cal was right, but it was Jared Goff, not Aaron Rodgers. Fresno State, David Carr, 2002.
I would have never got that.
Stanford was Andrew Luck in 2012.
I started to feel like it probably wasn't a big name school, but
yeah, we already knew Carson Palmer. We already knew USC with Carson Palmer and Caleb Williams. That's okay. That's good trivia. Good stuff there from Corey Price. It is the NFL draft tonight. How you feeling about your Saints?
I'm feeling pretty good. Don't really know the route they're going to go yet, but feeling pretty good.
The older that I get,
Been made good decisions recently.
the older I get, the more I can't get excited about the draft. Like, I get excited for who the Lions are going to pick, but I'm coming to the realization that nobody knows. Nobody knows who has a good or a bad draft, ever. I think I saw someone put together a montage today of fans flipping out after draft picks of guys that turned out to be incredibly good. Like, you've got all the Bills fans, like, throwing stuff and cursing God after they draft Josh Allen. You've got a Chiefs fans after they draft Patrick Mahomes saying, this is why we're never going to win a Super Bowl. This just god-awful organization. A Vikings fan, like, flipping a table after they draft Justin Jefferson. Like, nobody knows. You had Browns fans that thought that, they celebrated like they just won a playoff game when they drafted Johnny Manziel. The Lions got crucified a couple of years when they took Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round, and those are now two of the best players in the NFL. So, like, I always watch, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm breaking down the NFL draft. Like, ooh, that's a great pick. That's why the Eagles are so good. Like, nobody knows. I'm just kind of taking in the whole event. I'll probably watch a little bit of NBA and NHL playoffs over the draft tonight after I see what the Lions do. So, like, yeah, I mean, draft grades are ridiculous. You go back and you look at them 4 years in the future, they're almost always wrong, but I'm sure everybody will be doing it again tonight. So we talked about the good NFL news that's out there. I mean, the good college football news that's out there with Jeff Braum. The Papa John news is continuing to produce some pretty crazy content that's out there. I get it. I did not see this coming. Let's talk a little portal.
Okay.
You want to talk about men's basketball portal?
Let's talk.
So yesterday we were focusing on some of the not off the beaten path players, but like the non-top 20 players that we're now getting involved with. And one of the big names that was out there was Deshane Montgomery from Dayton. I think the fan base saw that and they were like, hell yeah. That was the general reaction that I saw from most fans on Twitter talking about Louisville pursuing Montgomery and all that good stuff. Took a visit to Louisville yesterday. He is hearing from Kentucky now today, Roman. UK fans seem to be very excited about this. They seem to be, there's all of these sources saying, UK is heavily involved. He's taking official visits to NC State and Louisville. We're going to be next. I love this guy's game. I think we're in good shape with Deshane Montgomery. Does that excite you?
It does excite me.
He strikes me as a perfect off-the-bench type guard. He shoots the three very well. He
obviously has a feel on the defensive end.
Exactly. Great instincts. If we are going to play a more aggressive style of defense this upcoming season, that plays right into his strengths.
He can play in transition. He can play in the half court.
Yeah, great size at the off guard position, which is kind of what you're looking for. With Jackson Shelstead being a little bit undersized, and maybe even if you wanted to say Woolley's a little bit undersized, you bring him off. If you had to go three guards, he can probably guard the three position on the other end because he's 6'5", pretty brawny, not overly athletic.
You got a sprained ankle on one of your guards for a couple of games or something like that. He's starting he's starting capable.
Exactly, for sure. I will never say done deal until it's officially done in this day and age. I mean, this is every single day. I'm going to say this every single day. Everything is fluid. Nothing is done until it's done. I think we're in very good shape with Deshane Montgomery. Are you pumped?
I am.
I'm pretty pumped, too.
You need a couple reliable pieces on the bench, like one or two guys that can play, and this is one of them.
Now, I was talking to some folks last night where I was kind of looking at the option A, where we were talking about option A, option B for how you try to go out there and fill out the rest of the roster, or what you do with that remaining money that you had set aside for potentially landing John Blackwell. And I said, option A is you still go out there and you try to just throw everything you got at one of the big fishes. There aren't that many out there anymore. Tonde Yesufu from Baylor added one more. Milan Momcilovic from Iowa State is a big name. Juke Harris is a huge name that's out there. But I think the issue with Momcilovic and Yesufu specifically is they seem more likely than not to go to the NBA than to come back and play college basketball. So if you go all in on them, there's a very real chance that you never had a chance to begin with because they're going to the NBA. So I don't think that Louisville. I can't tell you there's been zero contact whatsoever, but I don't think that people are like, is Louisville going to get involved with Yesufu? I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't think that they're going to get involved with Momcilovic. I'm not going to say that they're not getting involved with Juke Harris. We're just talking here, right?
We're just chatting.
We're just having a conversation on the radio. We're a little old station, third tier station. Not a lot of money behind us. I'm sure nobody's listening. We're just chatting. We're just throwing stuff out there. I'm not saying Louisville's not making an effort for Juke Harris. Just saying. But I'm not saying.
I didn't want to say anything.
I mean, I got no problem saying it. We're just talking. We're just friends talking on the radio, Roman. Just friends talking on the radio with a handful of people out there listening. No one's gonna, we're just chatting. We're just throwing stuff out there. What did you not want to say?
That there's maybe potentially some talks and an environment to be had about the recruitment around Juke Harris for the sake of our Cardinals.
Obviously, talking seriously, there would be a long way to go down that road, but something we kind of laid out yesterday, or maybe it was on Tuesday's show, that I think has come to fruition is the schools that were listed as the primary schools to land Juke Harris if he did pull his name out of the NBA draft, they've kind of filled the spots that you would expect him to slide into. Like Carolina's gone out there, and props to Mike Malone. They've got a pretty loaded roster right now. You have a lot of people that are putting them at in their top 15, kind of around their top 10. I like that. One, you've got a lot of money committed to that roster. Two, I don't know exactly how much he would want to play with a backcourt that's quite that crowded. Michigan, kind of the same thing there. They've filled out that roster pretty well already. They've dedicated a ton of money to bringing both guys back and to bringing some new guys into the fold. And then Tennessee is they've loaded up dramatically. Especially if Nate Ament comes back. Like, I don't think that Tennessee could pull the trigger on a guy like Juke Harris because they don't know with 100% certainty what Ament's going to do. But they've brought in, Hill. They've brought in Harris. They've brought in Harrelson. There's money out there, and it's a solid amount of it is on players that are going to be ball dominant, hugely heavy usage offensive guys. And I'm assuming that Harris wherever he goes, he probably wants to be the guaranteed, option one on offense. If you brought Juke Harris into Louisville, Roman, we both love Adrian Woolley. We both think that he has a solid chance to take a gigantic leap forward from his sophomore year to his junior year. But if you brought in Juke Harris, I don't think there's any question. That's option number one for you on offense, right?
100%.
Yeah.
That's an all ACC first team kind of a player right there.
I mean, he was last year, right?
I thought he was second team.
Was he second team?
I think in our system,
you may have been right.
Another year. He might have been first, actually.
It would have been tough to justify, I guess, having him. I'm looking at let me pull up the all ACC team. I know he was an all-conference caliber player. There's no question about that. He was second team. You're right. He was the second leading vote getter on the second team behind only Boopy Miller. So, and you look at the guys that are above him, all of them are gone. Cam Boozer, gone. Caleb Wilson, gone. Buka Corey, gone. Malik Renew, gone. Testa Ritter, gone. Boopy Miller, gone. He is according to the votes on the all-ACC teams, he would be the leading returning player in the ACC next season if he came back to Wake Forest or went to another program in the conference. So, yeah, it's a big-time name that's out there. No guarantees, obviously, but I believe there is efforting being done behind the scenes with Louisville and Juke Harris. Can you imagine if we get to Shane Montgomery and Juke Harris?
Now you're talking about a complete perimeter. Now
you're talking about, I think, in my eyes, unequivocally, a preseason top 10 team.
Top 5, Mike. Just say it.
I'm not going to say top 5. There are some teams out there that have really good cores already established. We would have a very good core already established, And I think we would have a very good top 8 at that point. And then you're just looking for, guys that you see potential in. And if they don't realize that potential, it's okay because you're not going to be reliant on them. You're looking for backup plans at that point who aren't going to command more than $100,000 in the portal. So, yeah, it's exciting to think about. I'm not letting my mind go to the place where I'm like, oh, I think we're going to get Juke Harris. But knowing that we're making an effort behind the scenes is exciting. And even if you don't get him, if you bring in Deshane Montgomery, if you bring in a couple of other really good players, you still have a lot there to get excited about going into next season. Did I get your hopes too high now?
No.
I kind of got my own hopes too high.
You got my expectation high now.
Well, I'm not expecting to get Juke Harris. I'm expecting us to do what we did with John Blackwell, which is try very hard and make it to a point where they've got to say, hey, I'm going somewhere else, but you didn't. You were the highest bidder. You did all you could. We left it all out there. At the end of the day, just didn't want to play for Louisville. Just wanted to play somewhere else more, or just wanted to stay in the NBA draft more. Louisville, they're going to do whatever they can, I think, to make this happen, and that's all you can ask for. So that's exciting news. 502-414-1450 is the Gameday Mens Health text line. We'll get to you guys here momentarily. I do also want to talk a little bit about the NFL draft. I don't think, and Roman, we're both on the same page. We don't expect to hear any Louisville players have their names called tonight, right?
Not in the first round, no.
I mean, I think that if Chris Bell had...
Some team would have to really love him.
Yeah, if Chris Bell had the type of offseason that we were expecting him to have where he's fully healthy, he's able to go through the process. I mean, he was projected widely as a first-round pick before the injury in that SMU game. And that's, I know we always love to talk about players should be leaving it all out there on the field. This is kind of a perfect example of why some players don't. All Chris Bell had to do was nothing for the last 2 months of Louisville season, and even though we'll always love him for it, he cost himself probably some money. So let's go over the mock drafts right now and where people have Louisville players, including Bell, slated to go. If you look at ESPN, Mel Kiper, he does a 2-round mock draft. He did not have any Louisville players going in the first 2 rounds. That being said, this is via Matt McGavick, laid this out there. In an exercise last month where he and some of the other NFL draft experts with ESPN played GM and drafted the top 100 picks, Kiper did take Bell in the 3rd round with the 73rd overall pick, held by your New Orleans Saints, Roman.
Yes.
You want this Shuck Bell connection.
I would love it.
Field Yates for ESPN, he's got Bell going to the Rams in the 2nd round with the 61st overall pick. And who's the other guy? Matt Miller had Bell going 66th overall to the Tennessee Titans in the 3rd round. He also was the only one of the 3 ESPN guys to have another Louisville player drafted. He's got Colin Lacey going at the tail end of the 7th round, 254th overall to the Indianapolis Colts.
He's too good.
He is so good, but
he's going to light it up on somebody's practice squad, and they're going to have to give him a chance.
But he hurt himself in the combine.
He did.
He had, I think, the slowest 40 of all but 3 wide receivers, which is crazy to me. Apparently, he ran it at Louisville's Pro Day, and those are always unofficial times. But he was markedly faster in the Pro Day. Sometimes you just have a bad day, and he just was a step slow at that combine. I think that really, really hurt his draft stock. CBS, they have a 3-round mock draft. Mike Renner has Chris Bell going in the 2nd round of the Pittsburgh Steelers with the 53rd overall pick, and Justin Wilson, who has a full-on 7-round pick, has Bell falling to the first one of the first picks of the 3rd round, coming off the board, 67th overall to the Raiders. Neither one of those guys have other Louisville players being drafted. The Athletic has a full 7-round from Dane Brugler. He has Chris Bell going the highest of anybody that I've seen, 43rd overall, get ready Dolphins guy, to Miami. He also has Renee Conga getting drafted in the 7th round with the 218th pick by the Dallas Cowboys. I think Renee Conga is going to get drafted. This is, the Pro Football Focus guys, the analytics guys, they love him. And apparently he helped himself a little bit at the combine. I think someone could get a steal with Renee Conga. He was very good and probably didn't get the hype that he deserved for Louisville last season. NFL Network also has a 7-round mock draft from Chad Reuter, who has Chris Bell going 67th overall to the Oakland Raiders. Reuters also has Renee Conga going in the 5th round to the Minnesota Vikings. And then they've got Colin Lacey going 213th overall in the 6th round to the Detroit Lions. It's time once again for Kelly Dickey's favorite fact. The Detroit Lions are the only NFL franchise, Roman, that have never drafted a Louisville Cardinal.
It's time.
We've got Teddy on the roster again. We've had success with some Louisville players over the last few years. It's time to draft a card. Let's go. Sporting news. Vinny Iyer has a 7-round mock draft. Only one Louisville player on his board. He's got Chris Bell. I said that the Sporting News guy the other guy had Bell the highest. He actually has Bell going 36th overall, very early in the 2nd round to the Oakland Raiders. That would be cool. Pro Football Network, very high on both Chris Bell and Renee Conga. They've got Bell going to the Eagles at 44th overall, and Renee Conga going in the 4th round at 120th overall to the Green Bay Packers. So let's make some predictions. Chris Bell, I mean, are we both going to say does not go 1st round? That's my prediction. Is it yours?
I'm going to say he doesn't go 1st round. Did you not call him the Vegas Raiders?
Did I call him Oakland?
Did you call him Oakland?
Yeah, I think I still called him Oakland. I refuse to acknowledge moves to Vegas outside of the Golden Knights, who were nothing before then. The Vegas Raiders. It still sounds weird. I just don't like it. Chris Bell, what round are you predicting that he goes?
I'm going to say 2nd round.
I'm going to say late 2nd round as well. I think that he'll go before the 3rd round. And then do you expect any other Louisville players to hear their names called?
I'd say at least one.
I'm going to say Renee Conga gets drafted in the 5th round.
I'm going to say he does as well. That position's too valuable.
Yeah, and I think he's had a great offseason. Helped his draft stock a lot every single time that he had to compete in front of scouts and coaches and that lot. I think he gets drafted. I don't think that Colin Lacey gets drafted. I think
he
that
quickly gets picked up, though.
Yeah, I mean, he'll absolutely get a contract. He'll absolutely be in camp somewhere, and he'll have an opportunity to earn his spot on a roster. I just don't think that anybody's going to spend a pick on him after having such a rough combine. And he's also got injury concerns. He's a little bit older, played 5 seasons of college football, had some injury issues throughout his career. He's a winner, though. You'd like to think that his special teams prowess would help him to maybe get drafted, but that's probably something that comes into effect more when you're looking at him as a free agent signing. So I think he'll be an undrafted free agent. I think a handful of other Louisville players will be. But I'm going on the record. 2 Louisville players get drafted this year. Chris Bell 2nd round, Renee Conga 5th round. Lions, do it. Take Renee Conga. Make it happen. Let's go. A couple of things to get to before we break for this hour. There's been some really good stuff written about, the portal is officially closed. So while there's still lots of players in the portal that are looking for their new home, you can kind of start to do the rankings and the evaluation, the winners and the losers. Brian Ralph has a really good look at what he refers to as the best under-the-radar signings of the offseason so far. He had the best as Jackson Shelstead. And he admits, he's not exactly an unknown name, but the reaction to his move nationally, because it was paired with Flory Badunga, has been lukewarm. But he says, I think Shelstead is set to become one of the nation's most productive guards while playing for Louisville. He says Kelsey's offense is built around guards who can shoot off movement, create advantages with the dribble, and make decisions on the move. Louisville's already seen how valuable that archetype can be with players like Chucky Hepburn and Michael Brown Jr., guards who can manipulate space while threatening to score. Ryan Conwell does too, even if he wasn't the same playmaker as the other two. Shelstad fits that mold even better than Conwell did. He goes into more detail. You can read the entire write-up there, but he talks about how for most of his career at Oregon, Shelstad was known more as kind of like a shifty combo guard who was more of a score-first type guy. But last season, because he was already dealing with that hand injury, he was asked to handle the ball more and be more of a creator for other players on his team, and he ended up averaging almost 5 assists per game after never topping 2.8 previously. So, he's talking about the off the burst dribble. It's a really good read. He's got some good highlights in there. He basically says everybody's kind of sleeping on Jackson Shelstead as the other guy in the Flory Badunga deal, and that's completely undervaluing how good he's going to be at Louisville next season. That makes me excited because I think Brian Roth is a really, really bright college basketball mind, and I love reading his stuff. Check it out. Also, real quickly, Isaac Trotter has Louisville as one of the winners in his winners and losers post. CBS Portal Power Rankings have Louisville at number 4. Sports Illustrated's Tim Capurso has U of L's Portal class at number 2. I'll take it. I think we should be 1, but whatever. Top 5. Feel pretty good about it. More work to be done. We're going to get there. Let's take a break. When we come back, YouTube chat, Game Day Men's Health chat. We'll let you take over. 502-414-1450 is the number there. We'll be back after this here on 1450 The Big X.
Hold tight.
It's hour number 2 here. Mike Rutherford Show, 1450, 96.1, Big X Sports Radio. Will McKelly's in the house as well as we get ready for the NFL draft tonight. Also, talking some portal stuff, talking Jeff Braum contract extension, talking Papa being back in the house potentially. We've also got news via Eric Crawford. He's been following the U of L Athletic Association Board of Trustees meeting all day long. Louisville has now passed a motion to approve Cardinal Ventures, Inc., which is going to be a nonprofit that's tasked with generating revenue for the University of Louisville Athletic Department. Okay? got to pay these players somehow, right?
Yep.
We're putting a lot of money out there. Got to find the funds for it. Let's make it happen. 502-414-1450, Game Day Men's Health text line. We'll start with the Game Day Men's Health text line today, and we'll get to the YouTube chat a little bit later. I know you guys have filled it up per usual, so let's go. We'll get to you, I promise. Texas, I'm thrilled to have Jeff Braum as our head coach, and I hope that he thrives here and continues to be our coach for a long time to come. But if anybody has issues with him or thinks he's not the guy, you might as well go ahead and get those thoughts out of your head for a long time. This is a big boy contract. If we fire him, it's going to be some Bobby Bonilla, Jeff Braum day kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, we owe him, the contract runs out in 2033. And if let's say the next 2 years go so horribly that we got to get rid of him. We realize there's just, we win 4 games this year. We win 3 games a year from now. Recruiting goes off the deep end. Nobody wants to play here. Braum's got a horrible legacy. I don't think that either of those things are going to happen. But if they did, and you felt like you had no choice but to fire Jeff, you're going to have to pay him 100% of the money left on his contract, which is a solid chunk of change. Here's what I think Jeff has proven, both at Louisville, at Purdue, at Western Kentucky. The floor is very high with Jeff. The ceiling, I think we're still trying to figure out just how high it is. We know he can beat some of the best teams in college football, but can he beat some of the good teams in college football consistently? For me, watching what he did at Purdue, taking them to a conference championship game, consistently having them in bowl season, what we've seen him do the first 3 years at Louisville, I think that locking him in means that you're going to be at least pretty good as long as he's here. Can you make that jump from pretty good to really good and maybe once in a blue moon, have an elite team that you feel like could maybe get hot and win a national title? That's the big unknown here. That's what this investment is trying to figure out, and that's why his reward structure is set up in a way that he's not going to get a ton of bonuses for just being the coach that he's been the last 3 years, but he will make a ton of money if he can get Louisville into the college football playoff and then do some damage there. That's what I'm thinking. And I think that that's probably why they ultimately were okay with the buyout being laid out the way that it was. Because, if Jeff went 8-4 next year and then 9-3 in 2027 and then 9-3 in 2028, people would have issues. But I don't think that many would be calling for his firing. It seems like a pretty sure thing that you're not going to have to fire Jeff because of on-field results before 2030, in which case the buyout will go down a little bit and you'd have less to pay on that contract if you felt like it was time for a change. Does that make sense to you, Roman? He seems like a guy who's good for at least 7 or 8 wins pretty much every time he's got
That's what and he's not going to, I don't think he's ever going to put us in a real spot to want to fire him.
That's what I'm saying.
Ever. So I'm okay with it.
Texter sends in the Diana Rossini. The Rossini Vrabel stuff, I want to stay away from it because, it's
unnecessary.
It's sports gossip. Every time something comes out about this, though, it is just the crazy. So you had the pictures of them from 6 years ago that came out today kissing. And it's unavoidable. And then you've got the tweet of hers from 5 years ago where she's saying, I keep looking at my almost 4-day-old son, Michael, while trying to figure out who are the best Michaels to ever play and coach in the NFL. And people are like, dude, is Vrabel that kid's dad? Did she name the kid after Vrabel? The whole thing is crazy. It's insane. And then Vrabel, every time he talks, looks like he's like, I've shamed my family. I've done terrible things. I'm like, what happened to the just complete denial that was out there? It is a wild ass story. Ohio guy texted in and said, "Hey Mark, have you seen this news story about a guy who got rich by using AI to trick people?" I have seen this. There's no way to talk about the story without getting political. But did you see the guy? He made enough money for medical school by creating this MAGA influencer persona that was completely like an AI woman, and got Emily Hart was the name that he gave her, and he ended up making like getting millions of views and creating millions of money, enough that he paid for medical school. And here's where it gets political: is he said he tried to do the same thing on like with a liberal influencer, and he said that Democrats knew that it was AI slop and they didn't engage as much. The MAGA crowd, this is his quote, not mine. The MAGA crowd is made up of dumb people, like super dumb people, and they all fell for it. That's become a big story out there. I mean, you also had like the Iranian women that were AI images, that like that whole thing that was that we're going to try to save these people, and it's like they're not real.
This is why I'm not going to make anybody mad.
It's a crazy world out there, right?
I don't need any AI images being created of me.
Well, there already is one.
Well, yeah, my friends do it enough. My friends do it plenty. I don't
Your
need
friends
any.
just make casual AI images of you?
Yes.
Oh, I mean,
It's like if you say something, yeah, they take advantage of how creative those Grok and ChatGPT can be.
I get it. It's a dangerous world out there. Ohio guy also says, Mark, since you won't be on the show tomorrow, but Hogs Plus has a 50% off subscription deal. Click the link on IG to take advantage of it before it's too late. I'm not clicking that. You think I'm joking? I'm not clicking on whatever link you just sent into Instagram. Dolphins guy texted in. Can't wait to have what little semblance of hope I've crushed with our new administration tonight when we panic and draft a skill player in the first round rather than committing to tanking and building in the trenches. I saw a tweet earlier today. Like I said, I don't know how anybody can convince themselves that they know who's good and who's not when it comes to NFL draft stuff. But this guy is like, just found out that that my wife's probably going to get full custody of the kids, and you want me to get excited about Keldrick Falk tonight? I was just like, imagine if that's your only fallback in life. I'm a Cowboys fan or I'm a whoever fan. Maybe we're going to get Dylan Tinneman tonight. Just like, no idea if he's good or not. Nobody knows. Texas, are we in on Stokes, and should we go after James Scott? We are not in on Stokes. I know that was a fake. The Truly Donovan fake screenshots are getting people now. Did you see the one last night that poor UK fans fell for?
I haven't seen any news.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so someone created, I think it was a Louisville fan created one that said, like, Louisville's going to get Tyron Stokes, or they're trying to get Tyron Stokes. But they put it out there saying straight up, like, this is, like, I'm making up a fake image. But last night, there was a fake Truly Donovan image that was going around saying Christian Anderson still plans on going in the portal, but the big news is Tonda Yesufu and Milan Momcilovic, it sounds like a done deal to Kentucky for around $14 million. And it was laid out just like it looks like on his Discord. And I think most UK fans saw that and were like, I'm not buying it. But there were a handful that were very excited for a short period of time. And I felt there was a part of me that felt pretty bad for them getting duped on that front.
People have too much time.
Too much time. They have like every little detail right. I just don't. I don't get about that. There was official word 30 minutes ago, by the way, Roman, something that we talked about yesterday. You know, we looked it up. James Scott was not officially in the portal, but there had been some talk on. Someone sent in and said Ole Miss fans on their board seem to believe that he is in the portal. They just haven't announced it yet. As of 30 minutes ago, James Scott is in the portal.
I figured he would be.
If we could get him for a very reasonable price, I would take him as a backup center. Would you?
Very reasonable, yes.
That's where I am, too. If he's looking for anywhere in the ballpark of what Ole Miss paid him, I don't think you do that. You definitely don't give him starter's money, even if you have it to throw around. But if he were willing to say, if he were willing to come here for what he was paid 2 years ago, which I don't think he would be, I would be good with that. I mean, I think that, I don't think that I know that. Like Pat Kelsey still loves James Scott. He said it in a press conference. He's like, man, I miss that kid. And James Scott had a very close relationship with Pat Kelsey. He only left because he got more than triple of what we were going to pay him from Ole Miss. And we didn't think he was worth that. To our credit, we were right. He certainly did not put up anything resembling the numbers that you would expect from a guy who was, I think, the second highest paid player, maybe the highest paid player on Ole Miss's team last season. But if he were willing to come back and say, look, I made $1.5 million last year at Ole Miss, I'm fine with making, I don't know, $200K to be a backup at Louisville. just because I like you guys so much and I'm so comfortable here, I'd be fine with that. He'd be a very good backup. But if he wants somewhere closer to market value for big men this offseason, I don't think you can justify giving him that level of money. But we do need a backup center at this point.
It'd be a good backup spot for the right money.
For sure. And plus, I just like James. I think he's a good character guy to have around.
But he hasn't added anything to his game.
No, he certainly did not get any better down there.
Whatever it was 2 years ago, it needs to be less than that.
But if he were the same player that he was 2 years ago, I'm fine with him doing that and being a backup. Like, that's perfect backup skill set. The problem was 2 years ago is he was a starter, and he was a good starter. He just wasn't a great starter.
That's true.
Like, if he were a lob threat and the same type of rim protector and rebounder that he was for us 2 seasons ago, that would be a great backup for Flory Badunga. He'd help us. But if he wants like $500K or, God forbid, $1 million, I don't think you can justify giving him that. Texas CFB here got this guy. Suck it, Mike. Here we go. Things are starting to slowly move towards normalcy in the NL Central. I mean, we lose 1 game out of 6, and this guy's like, here we go, yeah, the same old Reds. Say this in a Game of Thrones tone. The Cubs are coming. Well, that made it sound gross. Anyways, I'm getting excited about Louisville sports. Fun question involving the 5-and-5 nonsense. If you can improve the current starting lineup with one former player in the last 20 years or so, who are you taking and why is it Russ Smith? I'll hang up and listen. Okay, we can engage in this. With what we have on the roster right now, which is what, 6 guys?
Mm-hmm.
What player from the last 20 years would you take?
Give me sophomore Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I can't take Russ. He's too little. Love him. What team in the Elite Eight out of Russ?
I think also the game right now would be a little bit tougher for Russ to thrive the way that he did 13 years ago.
Yeah, he's going to have a 6'5" guy guarding him.
And let's be real, like Russ and Payton, fantastic defensive players, they ain't getting away with that level of hand checking anymore.
No.
I'm torn between, we could really use a Trez on this year's team. You know, he would help out. Fulgaris, maybe you could slide him down, play a little bit of the 3 if you wanted him there.
I'd like to.
But I think your pick is the right one.
If people said we couldn't do that, my next pick would be even more unorthodox. I think
Terry Rozier.
No. Gorgie, you're shooting this 3.
Ooh.
You're coming in here. You're shooting this 3. We're gonna have the best defensive starting 5 in the nation.
I think people forget how good Terry was his sophomore year.
Playing the 4 on the offensive end, guarding 4s if we need him to, guarding 5s if we need him to, stretching the floor on offense, still letting Flory do his thing as the roll man, screening man. He can space the floor. Pat could get him to shoot that 3. Give him a couple months. He'll start knocking it down. Give me Gorgie, if not Donovan Mitchell.
I would take either Donovan or Terry. I think sophomore, it's easy now to say, well, Donovan was the superior player. At their times, like Terry was really good as a sophomore, really good. And I think he would fit this offense.
16 points per game, 17 points.
He was, at one point in time, he was setting, like, he was doing things that a Louisville sophomore had not done in a long time. And that was in a system where we weren't playing quite as fast as I think we'll be playing here. He averaged 17.1 points per game his sophomore year. That's pretty good. And as well as 3 assists per game and 5.6 rebounds. Great rebounder for his size. I'd be torn between those two. Donovan was the thing was Terry was so consistent that year. He was great from start to finish. Donovan was really good in the second half, but struggled a little bit in the first month and a half of that season.
You can add one football player in the Braum era from the last 3 years to this year's team, except Chris Bell, who you added.
I thought you were going to say to the basketball team. Corey Brooks.
That's what I was thinking.
We need a lead wide receiver. Jamari Thrash was really good. Brooks was a little bit bigger. That's probably where I would go. Corey Brooks. Let's talk real quickly since the Ohio guy brought it up. There is apparently movement to try to get the new 5 seasons in 5 years rule into effect for next season, which is crazy considering you're in the middle of the portal movement. But there's some talk that maybe this could go into effect over the next month, which would create an extra year of eligibility for players.
Which will drop the price.
I mean, yeah, I think that you have to operate right now as if this isn't going to be a thing.
Yeah.
because if you're holding off money to bring back a guy who was a fourth-year senior last season that was really good, and then the rule doesn't go into effect, like you're bleep out of luck. I don't want the rule to go into effect for next year. If we're looking at what's best for Louisville, I feel like the guys that could come back for other programs are more valuable for them
than ours for us. Yes, 100%.
Exactly. Because, I mean, we're talking about Conwell and McNeely, essentially. Because Javon Hadley couldn't come back. He spent more than 5 years in college. If you brought back, I mean, look around the country.
Yaxel couldn't come back, though, right?
Yaxel.
That was his 5th year, wasn't it?
I believe that was his 5th year.
But that, like, the big for UConn, he could come back.
Terrace Reed, he could come back. Yaxel played. No, I don't know where he played before. He was a senior last season, but he only played 3 years of D1. I don't know if he played more than a year before that.
Didn't he drop down to like the lower level?
I think he was like a JUCO or a Division II guy for a year or something like that. But because he only played 3 years of D1,
a year of JUCO,
and he was still a senior. I think he's more than 5 years removed from high school, which is the new rule. You graduate high school, you got 5 years to play 5 seasons, and then you're done. But your boy Braden Smith, Roman, could be back at Purdue. Alex Caravan, UConn.
Or even worse, like Braden Smith could be back at Michigan.
Yeah.
I doubt that happens. Like one of those guys could go and make a juggernaut.
I mean, Bennett Sturtz, Donovan Dent. We're talking about some of the best players. Jaden Bradley, who was the Big 12 Player of the Year. Zuby Ejiofor, who was the Big East Player of the Year. We're talking about some of the best players in college basketball that could be back next season if this rule goes into effect.
Baba Miller, I think that's what he's waiting for, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Bob. I don't know if Baba Miller would still have a year of eligibility because I think he would have. He's already played. It's already 5 years since his last season of high school basketball, I think. But I think I don't want those guys back in college basketball if they're going to be on teams that are competitive with us. I think that we've done a good job. Like, if it came down to it, would you rather have Juke Harris or Ryan Conwell next season?
Juke Harris.
I'd rather have Juke Harris. And look, they were both second-team All-ACC guys, but if we're going to play a different style, which it certainly appears that we're going to, Harris probably fits that attacking mentality more than Conwell does. I mean, would I take both? Sure. But we're talking, we can't have a $1 billion roster at the end of the day.
Would you rather have Javon Hadley or Isaac McNeely?
I mean, we can't get Hadley, so we're just talking about a crazy hypothetical. Because McNeely would have eligibility in this hypothetical, Hadley would not. But if it came down to it, if it were possible,
that was his 5th year.
That was his 6th year. Hadley only had a year.
He did have the extra.
He only had the extra year because of the JUCO rule.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think he's 6 years out of high school. So he would have not under the current rule, or if this goes into effect, he wouldn't have been able to play last year for us. I'd probably take McNeely. Just because we need a shooter.
Yeah, he knows he's coming off the bench.
And I think Javon, that undersized 4, wouldn't really fit, and Carter Knox is kind of the better natural 3 already. And it'd be tough to ask Javon to come off the bench. I think McNeely would probably be more okay with coming off the bench and just being a sniper. Texter says, kicking it to Roman right after saying notorious N-word dropper might be back in the fold. Tough scene, Roman.
Was a little bit set me up there, Mike. You set me up there a little bit.
I mean, is he not though? He is. You're not wrong.
No, I'm saying I don't want to.
You don't want to talk about it.
You bring it up and then a minute later, that's I didn't want that to be the first thing I said.
Let's go to Roman for his thoughts on Papa John being brought back in the fold. I'm just going to let you take all these. Roman, how do you feel about this?
That's what the text line wants.
Look, he's a bad guy. I don't. Not even just like with this instance, but a lot of bad guys have a lot of money. He's not the only one. If it comes down to it, do you want Papa John's bad millions of dollars funding UK athletics or funding U of L athletics? We're all hypocrites at the end of the day. We are.
I want him to not have the money.
Exactly. I want him to lose it all. How can we bankrupt Papa John while helping ourselves at the same time?
There we go.
That's what we need to do. Texter says, Mike is sore as hell from all the girth that we've added. I don't like what you just did there. Not a big fan of that. I am sore as hell. It's not girth related. Texas, the day of reckoning is upon us. Papa John did say at some point in time, it's not like Papa has covered himself in glory. And it's not like he went into hide. He was on like Fox News. He was on every talk show that was out there, just saying crazy stuff all the time. I've eaten 40 pizzas in the last 40 days. The guy's insane, but he's got a lot of money. Texture says we already read the one. Texture says NIL happened. You're not wrong. Little Dumper says if the Papa wants to buy his way back into the university with a $100 million donation, I'm all for it.
Or even $50 million donation.
No, it's $100 million.
All right.
That's the limit.
All right, fair.
If you want back in, Papa, $100 million. You're not doing anything. He's not working for Papa John's anymore. He's got nothing going on. What I don't want is Papa to feel like he's got some sort of pull over what U of L Athletics does with the money, you know? I don't want him being like, no, I don't want.
Yeah, like you don't. That's what I'm saying. You don't.
I don't
get
want
any
Duke
say,
Harris.
and you're not allowed at the games.
I mean, okay, would we be okay with his name being back on?
No,
I don't really want his name on.
$200 million. I'm just kidding.
Could we get into the 10 figures? Could we get a bill out of Papa John? At that point, I'd let him. Yeah, he can name the stadium with appropriate language. We're not no slurs on the stadium.
With one donation, you immediately make us the highest paid football and basketball programs.
He could be that billionaire from Texas Tech where he's out there, he's just finding who's the best softball player in America. I'm bringing her to Louisville. If he wants to do that, okay. God, the more that we talk about it, I mean, I love winning as much as everybody. There is a part of me that would be grossed out if we kind of went that route.
And knowing what he'd be saying is like what that would do for him, I'm cool on that.
Yeah. Texture says, On3 is reporting that James Scott has entered the portal, but isn't the portal closed? Do you think he'd consider coming back to U of L for a diminished role? We kind of talked about
He
this.
made that text. They shot that text out before midnight.
Yeah, as long as, that's the rule. As long as
the equipment manager.
As long as you make an indication to someone at your current school, it can be a coach, it can be an administrator, it can be somebody else, that you plan on entering the portal before the midnight deadline, you are in the portal. Sometimes it doesn't, the information doesn't get out until a day or two or three later, but this happens with football and basketball every year now. It's going to continue to happen. It's why it's so weird. Texas, I don't need any more scandals. I mean, okay, there is this part of it too.
Yeah, that's not worth $100 million.
While we're all, I think, desperate to have another year of the Cardinal, and we want men's basketball to get back to where it was, and we'd love to see football take another step forward, we've been scandal-free for the last, 4 years now? And that's been pretty nice. We have a daily radio show here. We were talking a lot.
See if we can get 10. I don't even need a number. Is Donovan Mitchell helping us out on the basketball side? Get somebody to annually help us out on the football side, and we'll make it work as a fan base.
I mean, look, Terry's not going to jail, right?
No, he's a lot off the hook from everything I've seen.
He's kind of off the hook. I think he ended up, Charlotte said they were going to have to pay him the rest of his contract.
Yep.
He's got some money to spend. Let's get Terry back in the fold here. I mean, if we can take Papa's money, I think we can definitely take Terry's money. Didn't do anything wrong. He got set up. I have enjoyed not having to talk about scandals on the radio for the last 3 or 4 years. We haven't had one since, I think, the FBI Dino Gaudio deal. And that's been nice. I mean, the closest thing we've had has been this Jeff Braum, Josh Hurd back and forth. And that's not even a scandal. That's like it's just a normal back and forth feud between two of the highest profile people at a university. That happens everywhere.
Like Karan Davis.
Yeah, I mean, fun scandals. Like fun little stuff like that. Not, oh my God, I'm reading an indictment for the third time in the last 4 years. Riddler's texted in. Said, Riddler's going to have some thoughts. Peep that Braum buyout after 12/31/27. Jeff has Hurd by the you-know-whats. I can't say that word. I need Jeff to start negotiating with Hurd for my demands. Hook me up, Mike. You've got my number. Do I? Oh, yeah, because I'm on the text line. Riddle part 2. Bravo, President Bradley. Finally a man with vision to make Louisville athletics elite again. Bravo. Riddler part 3. I just realized how early onset Republican that sounds and need to set the record straight. John Schnatter is a sleazeball, but we need his money, and I'm okay with that. This kind of feels like where we are.
The Riddler's funny.
Yeah. Scootator texted in and said, Papa J, when U of L approaches him wanting his money, it's the The Michael Scott, well, how the turntables. Also says, what are your thoughts on the UCF forward Burks? Who's Burks? Jordan Burks from UCF, average 13.3 points. He started at UK. How do I not? This name is not ringing a bell.
Jordan Burks?
Jordan Burks played at UK, barely played as a freshman. Went to Georgetown second year. Didn't do much there, and then averaged 13.3 points and 4.8 rebounds per game last season. 6'9", 205-pound forward. That's a little frail for what we kind of want to do. Maybe a solid depth piece. Judging on the numbers and the size combination, I'm expecting that he is going to demand more money than we're willing to offer to be a 10th guy. We'll see. Take a break. We'll come back. More from you guys. We'll check in with YouTube Nation as well. It's the Rutherford Show. Keep it locked right here on the Big X.
Jeffersonville.
W241CK Jeffersonville.
o'clock hour here. It's the Mike Rutherford Show. 1450, 96.1, Big X Sports Radio. We had 2 NBA games last night. The home team won both of those. Pistons Magic series now evened up at a game apiece. The Thunder having no issues so far with the Phoenix Suns. They lead 2-0. We've got 3 games on tap tonight. Knicks, Hawks, Cavs, Raptors, Nuggets, Timberwolves. Roman, by the way, 2 of those 3 series are tied at 1 game apiece. The Cavs lead the Raptors 2-0. Roman, has anything surprised you from the first, I guess, 6 days of the NBA playoffs thus far?
Yeah. Alperen Sengun is absolutely terrible. I just can't understand somebody getting paid that much money to not really be able to create his own shot offensively, can't really shoot the ball, can't really defend his position at all, and can't do any of the fundamental stuff all too well. He's an all-right passer, though, and I guess, should be a better screener than he is, but, if you let DeAndre Ayton just take advantage of you with effort and intensity, you're in a rough spot. And then Ime Udoka just out there just looking clueless as to what he needs to do to get this offense to work. Kevin Durant not looking like he knows how to work through double teams.
What's the deal there? That seems.
I'm not saying like this is genuinely when I've watched every series so far, the way in which the Pistons lost game 1 was kind of surprising. The most surprising thing has definitely been the lack of offense completely from this Houston side going up against the Lakers team that was shaky defensively going into the playoffs. So,
are we on Kevin Durant washed alert?
He's washed. Yeah. It's not washed because he's still like one of the best tough shot makers in the league, but that's really all he's doing. He defends off ball. He's one of the better off ball defenders because of his size. Great help side defender. He knows how to make the right read, but he's not a leader, and he's not really an offensive creator with the ball in his hands anymore. He's not as dangerous as he was like just a few years ago at Brooklyn with that. So I'm not saying he's done, but he's done being your number 1 for sure.
Washed. He's also old. Played college basketball 20 years ago.
36? LeBron's out there.
Well, LeBron's a freak of nature. Let's not compare anybody to LeBron at this point in time. But, I think we're kind of on washed.
He's come off the Achilles, but he clearly still has enough in his game to go out there and give you 25-plus points. Why can't you go out there and lead a team to a win?
The Cavs have looked good in their first 2 games against the Raptors. They'll look to get pretty much an insurmountable 3-0 lead tonight in Toronto. Are we feeling better about their chances to potentially win the East? No.
I wish I was, but James Harden, I don't know. You're going to have to prove it. I'll believe it when I see it. Defensively, they should just be better, and they're not as good as they were last year defensively at times. So I don't think so. I want to be wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm watching the games with the cheering to be wrong, but I don't see them getting past the Pistons. I don't see them getting past the Celtics. And they could struggle with the winner of the like a Hawks or Knicks team too. So I see them beating the Hawks or Knicks, but not the other 2.
Don't love that. But who knows? We'll keep watching. We have a new list. Sports Illustrated has a new list of the top 20 transfer portal players available, with the field obviously dwindling dramatically. He's got who wrote this? Kevin Sweeney, my guy. Milan Momcilovic from Iowa State is number 1. Alan Graves from Santa Clara is number 2. Roman, I know you hate that. You are Alan Graves' hater number 1.
I'm going to have to be.
You despise.
You have to be the new Braden Smith.
Alan Graves.
He's overrated.
He may go to Duke.
It's April, and he's overrated.
He's an analytics darling. There's also, you know where I think he's going? Bag Will Wade.
Really?
UK, I think it's going to get the kid from James Madison. Then every James Madison fan is like, this guy sucks. But it may just be sour grapes. But we'll see. Alan Graves is number 2. Tonda Yesufu from Baylor is number 3. I think he's got to be ahead of Graves. Juke Harris at 4. I think he also should be ahead of Graves. And then it gets down. I think those are the big 4 that are out there. Mo Cham is the best big man available from Cincinnati. Masamba Diop from Arizona State is 6. Paul McNeil, the sharpshooter from NC State, is 7. Dwayne Aristode from Arizona is number 8. And then you get kind of into the weeds a little bit. Isaac Salazar from Yale, stat stuffer. I think stat stuffer. I think that's too high, but I think he's also going to go to Baylor. Dre Gibbs Lawhorn, who I actually think is very good. I don't know if he's a great fit here, but I think he's a player you can build around from UNLV. He's number 10. Jalen Stewart from UConn is 11. Tylen Riley, who I think committed to Cincinnati today, is 12. Someone can fact check me on that. If he didn't, he's going to. And then they've got what? What are you laughing at?
He's going to.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, the kid's going to Cincinnati. Deshane Montgomery, who we're, I think, in good shape for, is number 14 on this list. How does that make you feel? Pretty good. 14th best transfer portal available. Christian Reeves from Charleston is 15th. Frankie Collins from Vandy is 16th. I don't think we have any interest in the Mikey Lewis also, I think, committed somewhere today from St. Mary's. I don't think we have any contact. Abdi Bashir was one of the kind of trendy portal players last year, a guy who shot 1 billion threes the year before at Monmouth. He was not good for Kansas State this past season. He's on the list. That's not a player that I think we would have interest in. But getting a top 15 remaining player, if we are able to land Montgomery, would be cool. Getting a top 5 player remaining, if we are able to make some headway with Juke Harris, would be even cooler. So it's Balloon Glow Thursday, Roman. It's also Balloon Glow Friday tomorrow. If we're able to get one of these guys on campus, or in Montgomery's case, back on campus, done deal.
Done deal.
Done deal. Don't be surprised to see some sparks fly in football. Just saying. Just saying. Balloon Glow Thursday. Balloon Glow Friday. Magic happens. Gameday Men's Health text lines 502-414-1450. We'll get back to you in just a second, but let's check in on our YouTube chatters. Not a ton of YouTube chat today. That's just that's fine. Not as much as we're used to.
YouTube Nation, stand up.
Actually, there's more than I just refreshed, and there's more than I thought there was. Alan says, if the NCAA allows that 5 by 5 rule, does that mean we can get Ryan and Isaac back? Does anyone know how that will work? I don't think the NCAA knows how it'll work, but technically, yes. I don't know if we would, because they would expect money, and a lot of money's tied up in a lot of the players that we have coming out of the portal this year. So, but yes, technically, those two guys could have eligibility for next season. Alan says, I'm not going to read any of that. Texas, come to Papa. Papa's got a brand new bag. Sean says, great. Now that Braum got his contract extended, go win some championships. I don't want to hear any excuses or whining. Win some championships. I do think that we can get to that point. There wasn't a ton of outward whining from Jeff Braum, but there's been talk, and we've talked about it on this show, about behind-the-scenes chatter that they needed a boost in NIL, and then we had are we taking credit for this contract, Roman? Like, we basically kicked off the Josh Hurd, Jeff Braum feud with that interview.
I mean, we just got him paid.
I kind of feel
he might not have been making this much money with
Josh. May not like the show anymore. Josh may not be listening anymore.
We're costing him.
I feel maybe that they weren't planning on getting this done. I do feel like we should take full credit for this contract getting it done. I don't think it happens if he doesn't come on the show. I don't ask that question. He doesn't give that response. Just saying. There's a butterfly effect situation here. There's a domino effect situation here, and it all starts with the Mike Rutherford show on the Big X. But I do agree, like, if you start to hear some chatter behind the scenes this season, if we start like 4-3 about, Jeff's not happy, you don't have the ability now to complain about anything. The money's there that you wanted for both yourself, for NIL, for your buyout. It's time. Like, let's take that long-awaited step forward. Let's go. 82 Lane said, Roman missed an opportunity to play Draft Day by Drake.
Yeah.
Nev says, how dumb are Vrabel and Rossini's PR teams? This has been going on for 6 years, and their initial reaction was to lie. Got to be better. It's a tough look for everybody involved. 82 Atlantic says, Michael Moore, Chris the Plumber's favorite filmmaker.
I think 82 Atlantic is Ohio guy.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure.
Is he double dipping?
He's double dipping.
I know Star Wars double dipping over there. Tice says, 1912 people, what's up? We got some 1912ers in the chat. Babu says, I'd be okay with James Scott being our backup center, just saying. I agree. Mick Timidation says, Roman be guessing the United States is 100 years old. He be guessing the earth is 500 years old.
I don't.
You were close on George Lopez. I think you just didn't know who Sam Madison or Michael Moore were.
Some of my yearly age type of guesses are bad, but I get close often.
Yeah. Ryan Keeling says we got a better backup center coming. We'll see. Other token said there's no way in hell Ament comes back, right?
No.
I don't think. I mean, what do you? 80-20. He goes there. He's saying if I'm not a lottery pick, I'll come back.
90-10.
You think so?
Yes.
I was listening to, there are people out there, I was listening to a basketball podcast last night, and they were essentially saying, if you're not a top 8 pick in the NBA draft, you should come back to college at this point because you'll make more money playing college basketball. If you're like a non-freshman that maybe has already played a couple of years and you're not going to have your draft stock change immeasurably.
I can agree for guards. I can't go that way for wing and bigs.
Yeah, I think there's also something to be said. They were making the pitch like obviously the center's mostly around money, but if you're not a top 8 pick, you probably have no chance to be. I shouldn't say that. Donovan Mitchell was not a top 8 pick, and he's been the man everywhere he's gone since he got to. But like most players that get drafted outside of the top 8. Are going to live their life in the NBA as sort of a role player. Like, you're probably not going to be the best player on whatever team you play for.
As of, like, the last 10 drafts.
Yeah, there are only so many Kevin Durant's, LeBron James, Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders right now that are just bona fide superstars. Everybody else is just trying to play a role. And so...
Like even an MPJ who fell out of the lottery but was supposed to be a number 1 pick. Never was going to be an all-star.
The conversation, it started with the news about Thomas Howe coming back to Florida, even though he's widely regarded to be like he's safely a first-round pick. There are some people saying he could be a lottery pick, and he's choosing to come back to Florida. And they were like, he's going to make at least $8 million playing college basketball next season. He'll be, if not the highest-paid player in the country, certainly one of the 3 highest-paid players in the country. But if you were looking for, if it weren't just about the money, if you were looking for other reasons, they were saying, this is probably the last opportunity you're going to get as a basketball player to be like a very visible, constantly talked about as one of the best players in a sport. Because the 2 biggest leagues that most people care about when it comes to basketball in America are the NBA and men's college basketball. Women's college basketball has grown exponentially. If we're just calling a spade, it doesn't have anywhere near the popularity that the men's game does. So in terms of like the national sports conversation. So if you're Thomas Howe, if you wanted to take this to Nate Ament or Tonda Yesefu, you go to the NBA, you're probably going to be largely forgotten to non-NBA diehards. Like you're never going to be talked about as a first-team All-American or a first-team All-NBA guy again. Like this is your chance to be the big man on campus, always being talked about in every college basketball podcast, every college basketball show, every night on SportsCenter. You're not going to have that opportunity again. And there's something to be said for that. Like there's obviously if the money weren't equal or close to being equal, you would choose the NBA for the stability of your family and future generations of your family. But right now, being able to make $6, $7, $8 million playing college basketball if you're really good, it's like that's a great opportunity that wasn't around for guys that maybe liked being superstars in college but felt like they had to go and be role players in the NBA for a few years when they still had 2 or 3 years of college eligibility to exhaust. So there's something to be said there. I wonder if we keep seeing that become a trend. Let's see. Barry says, I'd like to petition that we put a Brian Braum Green Bay Packers poster up on the wall in the studio. No. Jeff Braum 49ers poster I can do. Brian doesn't go in the studio. Brian doesn't touch this area. This is a no Brian Braum zone. Bills fan 3518 says 2 players drafted is pretty pathetic as a program, honestly. I think we've had several years recently where we haven't had any players drafted, right?
Yeah. No? Yeah. I mean, not in a row, but yeah.
I think we had back-to-back years where we did not have a player drafted.
2019, 2020?
2020 we had Mekhi Becton.
And then it was Tutu before that, wasn't it?
No, Tutu was after Becton. Tutu and Dez were 2021.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you're right. We haven't had back-to-back years in a long time. We had 2019, we had nobody drafted. 2022, we had nobody drafted. Last year,
I feel like we don't ever go more than like 2 or 3 years in a row.
No, we don't. Last year, we only had 3 players drafted. The year before, I kind of forgot, we had 4 guys drafted the year before. We had Garendo, Jarvis Brownlee, Jamari Thrash, and Jawar Jordan. And then the year before that, even though the team wasn't great, Yaya Diaby, Yasir Abdullah, and Keetrell Clark all got drafted. We haven't had a first-round pick. I think we played this game last year. We haven't had a first-round pick since Mekhi Becton, 2020. I think that would have changed if Chris Bell hadn't gotten hurt. It's probably not going to change now. Do you think we have a first-round pick on our roster for this coming season?
Yes.
Is it Isaac Brown?
It is.
I think it is, too. I mean, I know running backs, people don't like drafting them early.
I think there's 2.
Who else?
I think Clev can sneak in there if he has an amazing year.
I think Tyler Thompson might be the guy that becomes the better draft
Got
prospect.
the better size, yeah.
He is.
But Clev can bend that corner like very few can. And if he can go out there and like lead the ACC in sacks or something like that, I think he could slip up there.
Lincoln Keenholz, number 1 overall. Just saying. It's possible. Let's see. Stallworth does chime in on the YouTube chat and says, my only issue with bringing back James Scott is will he still be the same lob dunker who gets pushed around by other bigs at his size? I mean, yeah, but even if he is, if we're talking about bringing him in as a backup, and I don't think that this is on the table at all.
Who?
Scott. Oh. But if it were, we're talking about him playing that role for 8 to 12 minutes a game, not 30 plus like he was a couple of years ago. Babu says the ex-player on the team, I should pick a scoring guard, but the thought of Trez and Flory playing together has me drooling. 100-plus dunks apiece in a single season. That would be very cool. Sean says all this pearl clutching over the mischaracterization of what Papa John said when there's a whole genre of music that says, oh, here we go. I don't see y'all decrying rap music, just saying. There it is. There's the class. They say it in rap songs, Roman. I'm going to make you say I think it's a little bit different. But that's just me. There's a whole genre of music where they're just saying the N-word all the time. Everybody should be able to say it, just constantly, everywhere.
Sean, you don't really believe that.
I don't think Sean really believes that. I don't think you do. Text line, 502-414-1450. Gameday Mens Health, by the way, redefining men's wellness with no shortcuts, just results, testosterone, peptides, weight loss, sexual performance therapy, and more. Visit GameDayMensHealth.com to find out what they can do for you. Text says, U of L's mending bridges with Papa. But is PK willing to bring back James Scott now that he's actually in the portal? James Scott, I think, has been talked about more in 90 minutes of this show than he was talked about for the totality of his year in Oxford, Mississippi. I don't think anybody covering Ole Miss athletics talked about James Scott as much as we've talked about him over the last hour and a half. I don't know if that says more about us or them. Texas, the saxophone made it down to Disney. I'll spend the next week documenting the travels for you, a la Flat Stanley, Parksy Baby. So Parksy Baby had was it a dent? That thing is huge. So if you missed it.
You didn't see the picture yesterday?
I saw it yesterday. I think there was, it looked a lot smaller in the first picture. I don't think I realized how big it was. So if you missed it yesterday, Parksy Baby texted in and said, he took his 4-year-old to get his hair cut. And the barber, when he was done, said, if you're okay with it, I've got something for your little man here. And he's thinking, like all of us, lollipop or like a little piece of candy. And he comes back with a full-on plastic toy saxophone. He said a bunch of toy instruments got sent to him mistakenly, and he's just been giving them away to kids. So his kid's got a toy saxophone that he's so enamored with that he had to bring down to Disney. By the way, you're staying at Art of Animation. That's where we stay. Props to you. It's a great place to stay if you can't. You know, we don't have the money to stay inside the park. It's crazy. I don't know what. There's a video on Instagram that my wife sent me of people like touring what's the Grand Floridian, which is like it's an insane amount of money, and it's just this woman she's like, what do y'all do for a living? like where's all this money coming from? When we stay at like the discount spot, it's still unbelievably expensive, but it's easy to get to the parks. Highly recommend it. Don't highly recommend having a gigantic toy saxophone that you have to bring with you to Disney World. God love you. Texas, I had to look this up. The Pop-Tart Bowl, which used to be the Camping World Cheez-It Bowl, is one of the top, the Tier 1 bowls. Okay. So the Tier 1 bowls that would get Jeff Braum the $100,000 bonus.
So it is there. Okay.
So it is there. It's the Pop-Tarts, the Citrus, the Alamo, and the Gator
I
Bowl.
thought it was one of the main ones.
Those are the Tier 1 bowls. We played in the, whatever, the Beans Bowl. Well, the Beans Bowl
is Baked Beans Bowl.
It doesn't even have it's not technically even an ACC bowl game. Like, we just got picked by one of the random bowl games because nobody else would have us. So he would not get a bonus for that. He received a small bonus for that last season with his new contract. He will not receive a bonus for playing. I'm surprised the Sun Bowl isn't above the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I feel like the Sun Bowl is pretty prestigious.
But wasn't the Cheez-It Bowl pretty prestigious?
I mean, it's cool because they dump Cheez-Its on people. But, like, that's it. Citrus Bowl, Alamo Bowl, Gator Bowl, they've been around for a long time. Sun Bowl's been around forever. But the Sun Bowl, the Pinstripe Bowl, the Mayo Bowl, the Idaho Potato Bowl, I don't even know what the Cure Bowl is, or the Bahamas Bowl. If we go to those, or any of these other games, Jeff Braum will not get a bonus. Texture says, girth, please.
Yes.
You're looking for more girth.
Could use one more addition.
Just a little bit, just like, a little jolt of girth.
Yeah.
All right. We could use a little bit more girth. Texture says, Dave, teacher from Jeffersonville. I was there at the Papa game as like a 12-year-old. I was baffled. I still am. I mean, I thought I was seeing things. I'm sure, this was party time, Mike. I'm sure I was very drunk. But I do remember being like, this is ridiculous. This is I think I was like laughing my ass off. I'm going to try to see if I can find this video on YouTube, Roman. You've got to watch. I want to get your reaction on air as you watch this. Papa John Camaro. The first result on YouTube is Papa John's Camaro found in Detroit. There used to be a video of this. I don't think, did this get taken off of YouTube? This freaking country. Freaking Biden, man. Just took it. Papa also filmed a commercial and made a half-court shot at a game where.
Papa John's Camaro story for Halls.
No. I don't want to see the half-court shot. Somebody took this down. Oh, man. I'm putting out a request to the listeners. Somebody go back and find the video of Papa John coming out in the Camaro at the U of L game and get it back on YouTube because it's the greatest moment in Papa John's Cardinal Stadium history. I guess we probably took it down after, he got all racist. Texas says, no, Dave also says, number 2, I really don't think Mendoza is good as a number 1 pick. Not at all. I'm kind of on, okay, Fernando Mendoza. 8 years from now, do you think that we see him as a justifiable number 1 overall pick?
Yeah.
You think so?
I do.
I don't think he's that good. I mean, I think he's really good.
Given the opportunity, I think he has just enough tools to keep that opportunity.
So you think he'll be
I think he'll get a second contract for the Raiders who draft him.
So you think he'll be like one of the 5-10 best quarterbacks in the NFL over the next decade?
One of the best 7 or 8.
Okay. I don't think he will, but I could easily be wrong.
I think he's got the size. I didn't until the playoff. Playoff kind of made me change my mind.
I'm talking to you and still desperately looking for this Camaro video. Texture says, shout out Roman or whoever gets the podcast posted right after it airs. It was very quick yesterday, which I do appreciate.
That was Matt.
Roman's podcast general. Sometimes Matt helps.
Matt and
mostly
Scoots pause the podcast on break, and then they have to go back and remember to play it when you get back from break. I don't do that. I delete the breaks after the show ends, which takes a little bit extra time.
That's the Roman touch, though. It takes a little bit of extra time, but that's what provides the special Roman touch.
Make sure I've got the right music in and outs there. I make sure,
this is why
it's all good to go.
That's why he's the best in the biz, folks. Texter says, Mike, can you shed some light, this first-time texter, on what took so long on the Alvaro commit? Seemed like as soon as we missed on Blackwell, he committed. Maybe we were reserving that money to go all in on Blackwell. I don't know. I said this yesterday. He committed last Tuesday night. He didn't want it out there until he officially visited. They went to Porcini on Friday night. They locked it down.
Oh boy!
Perfect timing. Thank you. Perfect timing. My understanding is this sounds really silly. My understanding, it was done deal over a week ago. The agent just took his time with some stuff. And they were like, that's just how this agent operates, kind of works on his own schedule. I don't think that – I know because of the timing, with it coming hours after we found out that Blackwell had canceled his visit, was going to go to Duke, that it does seem like we were just keeping it in the holster to release it whenever we needed a jolt of good news. I don't think that's what happened. Now, maybe they found out on Tuesday that they had to sign paperwork and that it was a done deal, and they waited. They were going to wait a little bit longer if Blackwell did commit, and then they were like, let's go ahead and announce it then. But they had known for a week that he was in the fold. We got to go to break. When we come back, it's hour number 3. I've got a weird off-the-beaten-path story to kick off the hour. We'll talk a little bit more football, and then we'll run through the text line. It's the Rutherford Show, 1450 The Big X.
Joe is back at Everything Concealed Carry.
There's a solution. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me.
It's the final hour of the Mike Rutherford Show, 1450 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. Mike Rutherford and Roman Kelly here with you as we roll on to hour number 3 of Thursday edition of the show. Jeff Braum locked in for the next 7 seasons as Louisville's head football coach. We're excited about that. Some potential positive developments on the Louisville men's basketball transfer portal front. We're excited about that. NHL and NBA playoffs tonight, as well as the NFL draft's first round. We're excited about that. Weird stories to kick off hour number 3. I'm not sure if you're excited about that, but you're going to get it anyway. Roman, I was going to talk about this, and I'm pulling the plug on it. But have you seen all of the updates about the UFO experts and the nuclear scientists that keep getting murdered?
No, but yes.
I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to be on that list.
I peeped it, but I didn't look into it.
It's terrifying. So here's what we are going to talk about. There's a new sleep study that purports to have discovered what you dream about right before you die. Maybe this could be comforting to you. Maybe it's not. But they studied. There's a study. It started in Italy. They studied what they refer to as ELDVs, end of life dreams and visions that terminally ill patients are having. So patients that are there's no saving them. They're very clearly in the last few weeks, days, months of their lives, and they all say that their dreams have changed from what they typically dreamt about earlier in their life. Some of them said, one professional recounted a dream where her husband, who had passed away 10 years earlier, told her, "I'm waiting for you." That's a sign of inner peace and acceptance of death. Another patient dreamed about climbing barefoot toward an open door that was filled with light. Others dreamed about had serene dreams filled with soothing symbols such as a white horse galloping along a shoreline. But there were some dreams that were on the other side of things. They said that there was a dream about no scientific explanation, but I had weird dreams where I couldn't drink water. I'd never had that before. There was a dream about a tunnel-like vision. There were dreams about arch-like shapes. There were dreams about very complex 360-degree enclosures where people felt like they were trapped and they couldn't get out of it. There was another...
No three-headed dogs?
No three-headed dogs that I've seen, but a patient did dream about an angel with, quote, exquisite white wings, the feathers incredibly detailed and layered onto one another, and a face like that of a Greek god.
That's cool.
That would be comforting.
Yeah.
I would just like to know, if it's my final days, I want to be known that, I want to have some belief that there's, something's going to happen.
If it's Greek gods, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, unless it's like a horned devil, and it's like, "I'm waiting for you, Mike," and I'm like, okay, let's do some quick apologizing for some stuff, I guess. They looked at this and they said the head researcher Jeffrey Long, who actually is a radiation oncologist in Kentucky, he said, "I haven't found any scientific explanation for these experiences. I've read brain research and considered every possible explanation for NDEs, which are near-death experiences. The bottom line is that none of them hold any water. We just don't know." So, you hear stories about people that have near-death experiences, and they talk about white light and seeing relatives and, being this overwhelming sense of calm. Or you have people that talk about having visions of their life flash before their eyes, kind of like this highlight reel of their lives. And other people say, just nothing, permanent cessation of consciousness, which is terrifying. But it's kind of, it's the great unknown, Roman. It's a great mystery. I grew up, I kind of wanted to have a near-death experience just so I could, growing up, I remember thinking that, where I was like, well, I want to know if something happens. I want to know what it is. I want to know, it's like my great-grandma talking to me, or I could learn a lesson. If I could almost die knowing that I wouldn't die, I absolutely would sign up for that. As long as I could go right back to living. I don't want to be impaired. But if I could have a near-death experience and then go right on living my life, wouldn't everybody want to do that? I want to know what you think. I want to know what you see. I want to know what happens. You've got no thoughts.
It depends on what the near-death experience is.
Well, if you're not feeling any of the pain, who cares, right?
But I guess. But I remember being a kid trying to save my cousin, and with the tide pulled us out too far, and I'm only thinking about how long is it going to take before I'm not going to be able to breathe underwater.
Look at you. Have you told this story before?
I thought I told this story.
Maybe you have. That's pretty impressive.
We were in a rough part of the beach down in Jacksonville, Florida. Me and my cousin, who was like 5 years younger than me at the time, and I was like 11. And we got pulled out to where I couldn't touch, but I was like 6 or 7 feet still. So I would like go up, get some air, tell him to yell for help, go back down, and then lift him up so he could like be up above the water to yell for help long enough before I needed air again.
Jeez.
Very traumatic situation. Luckily, there was a surfer nearby who could hurt us, and like his mom and dad didn't hear us. My mom and dad didn't hear us. Very scary.
That's crazy. Very cool though that you're risking your life for somebody else. Not a lot of people can say that. I want to. We're going to be on the air for another hour from 5:30 to 6:30. Though it is going to be the 3-man front. I feel like you guys have a lot of juicy stuff to get into. It's been a eventful week in the world of the Louisville Kings. I want to give you a chance to give the folks there a little bit of a preview. What do you guys have on tap for today's show?
Big preview or recap of last week's win because it was the first one of the season. So we're going to get into a lot of the details on that and how they made that happen. And we've got to get into these trades and these moves that the Kings have been making and seeing, trying to figure out what Coach Redmond's new philosophy is going to be going forward and predicting what we've got for this week.
Did you end up going to Waterfront Wednesday last night?
I did.
So I had multiple people tell me that they thought Deep Blue Something was great.
It was, I mean, yeah, they had me bop in my head.
Did they play Breakfast at Tiffany?
They did.
What if they?
And I realized I had heard that song before.
There you go. And what if they like, didn't play that song? There's like the one song that everybody knows. They refused to play.
I felt bad, like, because I think they had one more song after that, but the amount of people who got up and left right before that, or right as soon as it ended, you saw like just a flurry of people stand up and leave. It's like they were just waiting for that one.
I've got, before we get back to the text line, I've got a handful of crazy stats via the CBB analytics. People sent me this little thing, which has like some of their craziest findings from this past season. And one of them stood out more than any of the others because I know you're going to enjoy this, Roman. Braden Smith.
Here we go.
College basketball's all-time assist leader, the unanimous preseason most outstanding player in the country, ended up having a little bit of a disappointing season, all things considered. He shot 0 for 9 on potential game-tying and go-ahead field goal attempts in the last 60 seconds of games over his college career. It's the biggest offer for any player in college basketball on such shots over the last 8 seasons. Anti-clutch, Roman.
He can't handle the moment. The lights are too bright for him. He was never supposed to be in that kind of a spot. They put too much stock into him when he was younger because he could throw a lob and make a pocket pass as an 18-year-old. Kid's not clutch.
I'm begging for the Lakers to draft him.
What's his career high? It's probably like 27.
No, he scored. He dropped like 40 on somebody a couple years ago. He had a big scoring game. 34 against Toledo. December of 2024. That's his high. A couple of the other things that I thought also stood out there. By the way, Lamar Wilkerson, the opposite. He had 24 clutch free throws in clutch time. Made all 24 this past season.
Wow.
Makes it even more impressive that Indiana still sucked. Jeremy Fears created or assisted on 37.8 points per game. He created 58% of Michigan's offense when he was on the court, the second highest percentage in the country. The highest percentage in the country, A.J. DeBonsa.
We need to go look up some of those assists and see what their stat.
He's a vulture. He's a simple pass vulture.
And the stat keeper for him likes to really push the limits as to what they were calling assist.
Yeah,
great, good passer.
Like an entry pass where the big man does all the work. Got credit for an assist.
2 dribbles, half shimmy, and then a hook. That's an assist. Or like the cross-court pass from when he's coming up the right side of the court, his 2 guard or his wings streaking up the left side. He passes it, and the guy has to make 2 dribbles. Like he receives the pass outside of the 3-point line, and it's a layup, but that's still an assist.
Here's a crazy stat from an old friend, Trey White, who was a U of L Cardinal 2 years ago, played for Kansas this past season. He shot 74% in transition and 38% in the half court. I'm not shocked by that at all. Like just remembering him, like I felt like he was a good run the floor player, and I think he sucked in the half court. 74
takes tough mid-range jumpers.
Just terrible shot selection. 74% of his shot attempts did come in the half court, which was probably not great for him. Last one, Xavier Lee, our boy, shot 74% at the rim this season, a plus 20% increase from last year. It was the 6th largest increase in the country. Unfortunately, he shot horribly from beyond the arc. So there's
And that's also like a product of like
having three elite front court players that can just create space for you to drive to the basket.
And you're a kid that doesn't look at the rim inside unless you know you've got it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But still, great, impressive jump.
There's some good stuff out there. Some notes about Caleb Wilson. 6 of UConn's top 7 scorers shot a higher percentage from the field when Alex Caravan was off the court. Kind of crazy.
That's embarrassing.
It's a tough look for him, even though he was like the Big East player, first team All Big East.
6 players did?
6 of their 7 top scorers shot a higher percentage from the field when he was off the
I
court.
just didn't like playing with him, and that kind of means you were a ball hog.
I don't like looking at him. I caught a glimpse out of him on the side. It threw me off. He's too ugly. I don't know what to say. Last one that I thought was interesting. 41% of Caleb Wilson's minutes were played with at least 2 other 6'10" players on the court. His 306 minutes in triple big lineups were the most of any player in the country.
I was going to say, that's just cool, but that just means he was playing small forward.
Can he play without triple bigs around him?
Yes.
That's the question. I think the answer is yes. Gameday Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. Texter says, Mike, can you shed some light on – oh, we already read that one. Text says, Mike, Papa said that word, the one word that you just know you should not and cannot say, and we know the context. We know his character outside of that one conversation, too. He gets no benefit of the doubt. And then what does Papa want in return? We took his name off the football stadium. We took his name off academic buildings. He's not going to just want to give without something in return. This is where I am.
We know him.
If he wants to just give us $100 million for nothing, okay, whatever. You're a bad dude. We'll take your money, though.
A donation's a donation.
If he wants something in return.
No.
Yeah, like.
What if it's to bring the Camaro out one last time?
I'll be okay with that. The comedic value is solid enough.
Texter says here, bleep
Okay.
it, Mike. Now you've got me hooked on hopium. Let's go get Juke. If we end up with a visit, then swing and miss. It's still worth the crash out.
See, I talked about John Blackwell in the terms that I was given the entire time, which was, we're trying, we've got a shot, but we don't have a great shot, I still let myself get to the point where I was like, I think we're going to get him. I wasn't saying that on the radio, but I was like, I think we're going to get him on campus, and I'm trusting PK. He's going to make some crazy play happen, and we're going to get John Blackwell. I'm not letting my mind go to that place with Juke Harris. I'm encouraged.
I mean, you have every right to kind of feel that way. He got Flory on campus and didn't let him leave.
Exactly.
That's huge.
I'm encouraged that we're making an effort. I think that with the other, like the 3 schools that were widely rumored to be his favorites, if he came back to college, they've all, since that time, invested heavily in the portal, especially at the guard position. I think we've got a better pitch than Michigan, North Carolina, or Tennessee does right now. And we obviously, because of our recruitment of Blackwell, we know that we've got the type of money that he's probably going to command. Is he going to stay in the NBA draft is kind of the question. I think he's going to come back to college. I mean, I can pull up a mock draft. Do you have any idea? Is he being projected as a first-round guy?
He has been before on some, but not all of them.
I'm going to look up so Yahoo put one out yesterday.
So I think I have seen him as up to like a 21st or 22nd on one.
Okay, Yahoo's got him going as the second pick of the second round. ESPN has that's not what we want. NBADraft.net does not have him going in the first round. I mean, so okay, nobody is out here saying that he's like a lottery pick, right?
No.
That says to me
they are saying that about not lottery pick, but there's a lot of people that have Yesufu in the top 20, so it's surprising that.
See, I think he's going to end up staying. I think that
Juke, though, he's quite literally that first contract he'll get at that draft spot is nowhere near what he'll get being one of the highest paid guards in the transfer portal.
Right. I think he comes back. And if he does, got a pretty good shot. You got a decent. You have a good pitch.
It's just interesting, though, because that skill set, it's like you lose some draft stock if you don't go and have a Yaxel type of year at his age.
Yeah, but you lose some. But if he's being widely projected as like an early second-round guy, if he goes to college and has a similar season for Louisville,
probably or
wherever, he's probably still an early second-round guy.
Can't get too worse.
Ryan Conwell kind of had the same thing last year. He was popping up in that sort of like 45 to 50 range in mock drafts. And I don't think Conwell ever really seriously considered going to the NBA, but he was popping up in mock drafts before we landed him. He's still kind of popping up in that same range.
Yeah.
And so I think that if you're an agent, you say, if you want to bet on yourself being a second-round pick who just crushes it during the summer and earns yourself a big deal or, gets playing time, okay, like we can go that route. You're going to have a guaranteed probably $6-7 million contract to play one season of college basketball if you go back there, and you're going to be right back in the exact same position draft-wise a year from now. If you hurt yourself, if you don't play well, maybe you could drop a little bit. If you play great, yeah, maybe you could solidify yourself as a first-round pick, but you're probably not going to play your way into the lottery, and you're probably not going to play your way out of the draft if you go back to college. So it's $7 million to just delay your pro career 12 months and be in the exact same spot once you start it. That seems like a pretty good pitch.
Would Louisville give him $7 million? Do they have that much left to give to one guy?
There's always money in the banana stand.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe there's always money behind the Papa John's store. Maybe we're bringing Papa in for Juke Harris. Who knows? I think if we had it for John Blackwell, we'll have it for Juke Harris. That's the way that I would say it. Texture says, I'm sick to my stomach with the thought of Papa John being back in the fold. That's someone's first-time text. Cowboy. Texas PRTG here. That's more like a Detroit. Suck it, Ohio guy. Roman, do you think Detroit gets to the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yes.
What about creating an AI image of TK flying through the air to replace the Favre poster? Just go neutral. Yeah, Trevor Kelsey, cracking, oversized shirt, flying through. We had a whole story about this because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, getting into a wreck and just like flying 200 feet through the air. It's still an image that makes me giggle, obviously. Texter says, Mike, what happens if the fifth year is approved by the NCAA? Do we bring Conwell back? I have no idea. I would guess no, but I've got no idea. Texas, which would you hate the most for U of L funding? The Doughboys money, capital investment, Saudi money, or money from Mr. Beast? Probably Saudi money. Mr. Beast isn't evil, right? He's just kind of like a douche.
No, he's evil.
Is he? Is there stuff that I don't know very much about Mr. Beast outside of him doing the stupid.
Where you don't just get money like that to just throw away. Mr. Beast is tied in with the devil or something. You should not be having that much money to just play with in life, even as a YouTuber. Where's it coming from? Still, I'm going Saudi, though.
So, yeah,
come on, Mr. Beast. I'll eat that chocolate.
Is Mr. Beast potentially funding, like, wars? Maybe. I don't know. Mr. Beast videos are, so, like, I heard the name, but I'm too old to, like, really, like, have a knowledge of what he was doing. And then I watched one of the videos that was out there, like, a quick summary. It was the one where he asked two people to spend, like, you had to spend as much time as you possibly could in a grocery store.
Yeah.
And, like, live there for months. And I was like, this is insane. Also, there are people that watch hours and hours of that stuff. And just, I guess, like, that's replacing TV. Which, different strokes for different folks. But just, it's crazy. I don't want Mr. Beast money. Okay.
We'll take the dope.
Let me think about it. If we had to play in Mr. Beast Cardinal Arena for basketball, would you take a $500 million commitment from Mr. Beast?
Yes.
I would too, as long as he didn't make our athletes go do his stupid videos.
They would. They'd have to. One athlete per month.
We stuck Case
Can this Division I basketball player survive in outer space? Some crazy stuff he'd probably do.
No masturbation for the Louisville basketball team going into its game against Duke. Let's see how it affects the players. Texture says, Mike, how goes it? Got a few questions. He says, don't read number 2 at all, please. Okay. 1, how do we feel about Deshane Montgomery possible commit during the show? I think we feel good. Not sure about possible commit during the show, but we feel good. 3, Juke Harris update. We're efforting. 4, if 5 for 5 passes, will there be a portal? Or I don't have I know you guys have a lot of questions about the 5 for 5 stuff. I don't have any answers outside of I would assume that they would all be like potential portal acquisitions. I mean, can you imagine if we have all I listed the players, some of the players, like Braden Smith, Bennett Sturts, Zuby Ejiofor, Ryan Conwell, guys like that. Those are huge money players if they came back to college basketball. Imagine if this rule doesn't get passed until a month from now, and most of the schools don't have any money. I mean, like you go to Bennett Sturts.
I was
just
thinking about that.
Hey, man, would you play here for like $50K?
Telling Donovan Dent, we'll give you $300,000.
He's like, I made $5 million to play for UCLA last year. Like Southern Illinois is offering me $100K. What the hell is this? No one's got any spots. Texter says, play and coach in the NFL really limits the number of eligible Michaels. I don't know what that means.
How many guys in the NFL played in the NFL and coached and were named Michael?
Strahan.
Did he coach?
Irvin.
Michael didn't coach.
Well, she said players and coaches. Like I don't think she meant like a guy who played and coached.
That's what the tweet's about.
Well, but she was saying like I'm looking at like the best players and coaches in the NFL, not guys who were players and then coaches.
Yeah, the texter I think read it in that way.
I think it's just. I mean, it was a tweet of hers from like 6 years ago when her son was born. So everybody's taking it and running with it, being like, "Oh my God, it's about Mike Vrabel." Texter says, "I heard that was Chris the Plumber's favorite influencer." Don't even remember who we were talking about. Oh, it's the AI story. Texas Mike, please tell Roman to tell me that I'm pretty. Thanks, Doc. He did it yesterday.
You didn't hear it yesterday.
How many times are you going to do that? Tell him again.
You're the best, Doc. Gorgeous.
He said pretty.
I'm upping at that. It's not enough.
Texas, it feels like we need a laugh. What's your favorite joke? Mine, what did the... Is this racial?
Yes. You can't say that.
It's borderline. I'll err on the side of caution.
Yeah, it's not... If you were to read that second part in like a tone like that, though, then it'd be bad.
This isn't really a joke, but it was kind of it had a funny ending. It's kind of a scary thing that happened. So, when we first had Virginia, I was terrified of her like putting toys in her mouth just because the choking hazards and all that stuff. And we had, like the little horses that they make, like the little toy horses that are like miniature, like
with like the hair that you can brush and stuff.
Yeah. So I left her alone in the room for like 5 minutes, and she actually swallowed like 7 of those tiny horses.
My Little Pony.
So I freaked out. Something like that, like the little horses. So she ate like 7 of those.
What?
Yeah. So we rushed her to the hospital, and we're like, she ate 7 horses, and they take her back there, and they came back out, and they're like, we're like, what's her condition? Is she okay? And they said, it's stable. That's a joke. Stable force. Did you like that?
I did.
Yeah. It's all about the delivery. It's a classic dad joke. Hopefully that worked okay. Lazard guy said, give me Terry in that situation. Terry was so good. Also says, we get Juke or I puke. Get him on campus tonight. Take him to the Balloon Glow. Locked in by Friday. Signed, sealed, delivered. Balloon Glow. I think we're going to get someone just tweeted the show and just said Papa John better ingredients with the N in quotations. I don't like this. Text, what's your take on the Dayton guard, first time texter Cowboy? I think he's good. I mean, we talked about him a lot yesterday. He's got kind of a funny looking outside shot, sort of a set shot, but it goes in a lot. He's a good shooter. He's a good playmaker off the bounce. He's not especially quick. The first step is not quick, but he's crafty when it comes to creating some separation to get off a jump shot. He's athletic enough in transition, good dunker, average 2.1 steals per game, takes some chances as a defensive player, but has great instincts, has great skills, was tremendous in their defensive system last year. He'd be like, he would strike me as with the current roster, he'd be a great first guard off the bench. Now, if you were to bring in Juke Harris, I think then you're talking about both he and Woolley coming off the bench. And at that point, it's like, man, it's an embarrassment of riches in the backcourt at that point. Texter says, maybe a reason that Rozier was forgotten about was because his sophomore year we couldn't shoot or make shots to save our lives that season. It was a bad outside shooting team. Terry included. I mean, Terry had some rough – I think he was our best three-point shooter. He had some stretches where he just could not make an outside shot. But that was also a very good defensive team, and he was a very good defensive player. He would help us on both ends, for sure. Terry was really good. Tremendous in transition, tremendous finisher, great rebounder. Terry was good. Let's take a break. When we come back, it'll be the final segment of the show. We have a lot of text to get to. We're going to run through as many as we can. We'll check back in on the YouTube chat. We'll make some predictions for the night ahead in the NHL and the NBA, and then we'll hand things off to the three-man front for the last hour of Big X Sports local coverage. It's the Mike Rutherford Show. Last segment coming up next, 1450 and 96.1, the Big X. Welcome back in. It's the final segment of the day. Mike Rutherford Show, 1450, 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. We've got Roman Kelly in the house. Balloon Glow Magic, maybe on tap. A little bit of news that's out there right now. Louisville is set to host a big, literally and figuratively, visitor tonight for an official visit. Obinna Ekezie, who is the number 1 ranked center in the class of 2027. 5-star prospect out of Southeastern Prep in Lagos. That's where he's a native from. Offers from virtually every major program in college basketball. On campus, in town tonight. 6'11", 220 pounds. The number 4 overall player in the class of 2027, according to the ESPN.com rankings. I believe he's also number 4 overall in the 24/7 Sports composite rankings. Just visited Michigan earlier this week. Now headed to Louisville. You know what time it is, Roman? Balloon Glow Magic time.
Yeah.
Do you think we can get this
and
done?
filling out your 2026 roster? It's that time too.
Yeah, but he's 2027 player, right?
Yeah. How many guys are on the team for 2026?
Are you thumbing your nose at getting the best center in the class of 2027?
I'd like to get some to know if we have a roster that's going to do something this year.
Why not both, Roman?
The next thing's the most important thing. That's not very focused on the next thing of you, Pat. Seems like you're trying to skip a year.
So the next thing's the next thing. We shouldn't recruit anybody.
No, this is
zero
great.
recruiting whatsoever.
This is great.
This is good news.
This is great news. Being in on one of the top centers. This is not something that Louisville very often is in on ever, and throughout our history, it feels like a handful of times. I'm just not going to put so much can happen in a year that I'm not going to put too much stock into this yet.
I am. Why not?
Better than Isaac Ellis, though.
I mean, come on. Stop. Don't bring. This is a no Isaac Ellis show.
Him, Fernandez, Isaac. I'm feeling good about that 2027 roster.
I love Fernandez Wright. I think he's a perfect addition for what we need to do. I don't want to talk about the Ellis stuff anymore because every time I do it, people get mad at me. I'm simply giving an opinion. That's what we do on the show. That's who we are. That's how it goes. I'm not going to say anything. Won't say anything. That's fine. Whatever. Balloon Glow Magic. Get it done tonight. We have a lot of text to get to on the Gameday Mens Health text line. 502-414-1450 is the number there. See what you guys have to say. Texter says, did you all hear that Stokes coming to U of L? I'm ready for the gamble. Either the Son of Darkness brings us to the promised land or it all blows up. He's not coming to U of L. There's a fake tweet going around earlier. Not true. Texas, if we're talking about the best player from the last 20 years to add to this team, I say Donovan easy. Second, Carlik Jones. What do you think about that?
Be nice. Not as good as some others.
He's also, we already have 1-6-1 guard. He basically would be like, I think probably a slight upgrade to Jackson Shelstad, but he's the same type of player. You would need, we need more of a bigger scoring off guard, and that's what Donovan does. Texas says, oh, God, here we go. When Matt Stafford won the Super Bowl 4 years ago, was he on the line to the Rams? Pretty sure he's a line. You can fact check me if you want to. Texas, is this real? If so, would we get involved? This is a transfer portal. James Scott. I don't think so. Who knows? Texas, the sad reality is that most billionaires are bad people. Not all, but most. Better than Saudi money, but sigh, depressing. I think that's a pretty standard rule of thumb. Just because I think you can be a good person and get to a level where you are absurdly rich. If we're talking about the top 0.0000001% of rich people, you've probably had to have made some decisions where you've done some truly inhumane things to get to that point. Some may argue that even being a billionaire is kind of an anti-human stance. Just saying. We're getting controversial on today's show a little bit.
Obinna went to St. Raphael.
Who? For 1 year. For 1 year. So there was a famous picture.
And won the 1A championship in that 1 year.
Not sure. There was a famous picture of him going around where they're getting ready for the tip-off. It's like St. Raphael versus Our Lady of Lourdes. And there's a normal-looking 13-year-old about to jump. And then there's Obinna Ekezie, who is like already at that point 6'11", and the kid who's on the other side is just kind of like, I mean, what do you want me to do here? It was like someone needs to find that. I think it was a UK fan that actually tweeted it. It may have been Roush that tweeted it out, but it's a terrific picture. But he was only in town for 1 year. I think his dad, who played in the NBA, was doing something in town basketball-wise. Do you have it?
I just sent a picture someone sent me.
This of their championship team. Yeah, same. He's wearing the same uniforms. Props to St. Raphael for ordering. I'm sure his uniform special. But there's a picture of him like getting ready to do the midcourt jump, and it's still hilarious. Floating around there somewhere. Trevor's stepdad says Papa John walking back into his first board meeting, and it's a picture of Peter Griffin wearing a King of the Black People sash. I don't think that's going to happen. Texter says, who do you think had a more miraculous recovery from an ACL tear, Chris Bell or Jaden Acquaintance? Well, I mean, it's
a joke.
Jaden Acquaintance didn't play. Chris Bell's back running on a treadmill.
Jaden Acquaintance doctor said they've never seen a human recover like this.
And they still didn't play. Chris Bell, did you see that video of him running on a treadmill?
Yes.
Looking pretty good. He also, go ahead.
I was saying he was looking quick, looking fast.
He was. He also apparently signed a deal with Nike yesterday.
Huge.
So he's a Nike athlete. That's good for his future. A lot of people banking on him being a guy whose draft stock got hurt, but a guy who's going to tear it up in the NFL and then sign a big second contract. Hopefully that's the case. I mean, I'll be a Chris Bell fan forever. Probably shouldn't have played in that SMU game. Did. Hurt his career a little bit. But a guy who gave it his all for U of L. Deserves all of our support. Texas, I told you Papa J was back. Texas also bringing back Papa John our first step towards getting into the SEC. You've got to have a big-time racist donor. I'm not comfortable with any of this discussion. Texter says the holdup on the Braum extension was that Josh wanted to take the big dog's Twitter away from him. He bent the knee, and the big dog has already said we're coming harder than ever. Did you see that tweet?
Yes.
I like that. So Vince Marrow, I'm trying to pull up the tweet. After they officially signed the Jeff Braum contract, he said, well, can't use this anymore about how we won't be here, LOL. Now I'm really coming for y'all. Big Dog's basically like everyone's saying, Jeff Braum, Vince Marrow, they're not long for Louisville. You don't want to sign there. You don't want to go there. And Vince Marrow's like, off the table. Now it's time to really start recruiting. I love it. I love this guy. Get him on the show. Texture says, I didn't expect to start today's show with Mike being aggressively on Neely Bendaputi's team. There's the one time that I kind of agreed with her. Texas, I need a Tom Brenneman interview of Papa John on the CW next year. Texas, I'm not defending Papa. The context does matter. He wasn't calling somebody that name, even though he 100% shouldn't have said it. But being a rap music fan, here we go. How many times did you repeat a lyric again? I think context does matter, and yes, Papa John is a weirdo in any way. I mean, it's the oldest argument in the book. It's a simple thing. You can't say the word. Text says, who do you think initiated the Papa John reunion? Him reaching out with a donation or the school in financial trouble wanting to mend fences and hoping for money? Probably us. You know? I think Papa has wanted to be back in the U of L fold for a while. That's kind of been the word. Texas with Papa John, is there any chance of us getting Tom Jurich back in the fold? Okay, so this is a real thing. I didn't want to bring this up without provocation. One thing that I have learned over the last couple of months, so we've always talked about, you know, if Tom Jurich had stayed the athletic director, we wouldn't have gotten Jeff Braum because they hated each other. Jeff hated the way that he was treated and the way that his brothers were treated by U of L at times when Steve Cragthorpe was there, and that was very much a thing. Jeff and Tom Jurich apparently have a good relationship at this point. Like, there was some talk from Jeff, I don't think it ever went anywhere, about, I think he at least had a preliminary conversation with Tom about like coming back in and helping with some fundraising on the football side of things. And I think Tom was kind of open to it, and Jeff was certainly open to it. Like, Jeff and Tom have apparently let bygones be bygones and are very much on the same page. I think Tom genuinely wants U of L athletics to succeed, and I think he's rooting for Jeff, and I think Jeff has at least been open in the past to bringing Jurich back here in some capacity. I don't think it'll ever happen, and I understand why, but like, it wouldn't be Jeff that would stop that from being a thing. Texas, I remember being young at the football game when Papa John showed up in the Camaro, and my dad's friend said Papa John is one of the worst people he's ever been around. It's a great story. I actually have a personal Papa John story.
Can you?
I cannot tell it because
I'm surprised you can tell it.
It was from the law firm days. When I get old enough and if I'm about to die, I will tell the story. It's very, very funny, but and not like a terrible thing. It's standard weirdo behavior with a very funny anecdote from somebody that was close to Papa. Texture says, as a Raiders fan, I'm scared to death of Mendoza. I think there's a chance that he's just okay at the next level, for sure. Texture says, Papa John used to fly in on his helicopter and land in the gravel lot or the silos, where the silos used to be. Somebody would pick him up in a fancy golf cart, and then he would proceed to ignore every single fan that would holler at him from there to the stadium. I'm pretty sure his jeans cost more than the car I drove in there. Well, one of the stories that I can tell, because John told it on air, John Ramsey, when I was in the show with him, he would go up to the fancy suites where Tom was and the other people. And there was one time where I think he was a guest in Papa John's suite. And Ramsey was like, he enjoyed his alcohol. He's not a big wine guy, more of a beer guy. But all they had was this wine. And he's like chugging glasses of wine. Because he doesn't know. He's like, I don't drink fancy wine. And Papa John came over and he was like, you realize that's a $5,000 bottle of wine. And John's like, tastes the same as like a slap the bag type of wine. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I'm drinking it fast. That's what it's here for. I was like, yeah, you chug Papa John's wine. He's apparently going to say something about it. Texture says, he said somebody sent in the Papa video. This is from the crowd, though. Roman, watch this on the text line.
Which one is this one?
It just says click to view video, Papa video. It's not great. This isn't the one where it has like the full him getting out and like doing the handshake with this was a real thing that we did at a football game, Roman.
That's so ridiculous.
And then he got out.
That is such a
poor Sean Moth, if he's listening to this, I know Papa John had to be like, coming in, like, direct your attention to the south end zone. I believe we've got a special guest, and it's Papa John in the Camaro. And then he and Tom Jurich get out there and, like, lock hands and lift them up like they just signed a peace treaty in the Middle East. And I think they were all expecting, like, raucous ovation from the crowd. And everybody was like, this is some weird stuff, man. Like no, everybody just had the same, like, I'm not going to give a standing O to Papa for coming out in his Camaro at halftime of a night football game.
I've never seen anything like that.
Oh, it was insane. Apparently, U of L.
I remember him having seen pictures of him and the Camaro, though.
Oh, he loves the Camaro. Yeah, I was trying to find the video. There's a million videos on YouTube about Papa John and Camaros. Texas, U of L also gave out Papa John toy Camaros, too. Did we really? I'm rethinking this whole thing now. Maybe $100 million isn't worth this. Texas' first-time texter. All right, Mike, I said what I said on YouTube. Rap music and Tarantino movies say the alleged Papa John's word every other word. I'm just saying, LOL. I still got love for you guys. Don't be mad at me, Roman, LOL. I think he could be mad at you. I think that's fine. Texas, hey, Mike, curious what you think about Jaden Johnson from Trinity committing to USF. It seems strange to me that we didn't recruit an in-city 4-star player. Also, do you think we let local recruits go to smaller schools with the intention to recruit them in the transfer portal later on?
Yeah.
Let them get experience at the lower level and then recruit them later on when they have college experience. I think it's not a dumb idea. The whole reason why the NBA installed the one and done rule was because they were sick of executives looking really dumb for gambling on high school players that ended up not working out. The portal kind of provides the same opportunity for the haves in college basketball. If you've got, because everybody wants Louisville to recruit players from the city of Louisville. And when they're not 5-star can't-miss talents like Jaden Johnson, who at one time, I think when he first transferred into Trinity as a freshman or a sophomore, people thought he was going to be a 5-star type player. he kind of went back and forth. He transferred to a prep school before this year, then ended up transferring back into Trinity and didn't get eligible until February. But if you've got doubts about a player in your own backyard and whether or not he can hack it at the highest of levels, you now have the ability to kind of let them go to a USF type program or
keep an eye on them.
Yeah, and if you look at them and you're like, damn, yeah, that kid can really play, you feel like you've got a leg up over the competition because you're from their hometown. If you have the money and you know they want to play for their hometown school, you can wait a year and then say, all right, we wanted to see you do it, do the Dwayne Sutton thing, but now with money, and say, all right, come back and play. Like
his brother just committed to St. X too.
Jaden Johnson's brother?
Yep. Freshman.
Ouch.
Just as tall as he is.
St. X is getting all the they've got a group of players. They've got, I think, Allen Houston's kid coming in, or it's Wade Houston's grandson. I'm not sure if it's Allen's kid, but he's coming to St. X. Like all the best local talent that they weren't going to St. X back in my day. Now they seem to be going to St. X. Texas says everyone's acting like Papa said the word just once. It just wasn't once. Also, didn't just do the Camaro thing once. There's these videos of Papa John doing the Camaro smoking. He did it twice. This is the one that I remember. This is the second one that you sent in where it was daylight, and we still had the old blow-up inflatable tunnel. That's the one that I remember. God, what just absolutely ridiculous. Texas Flory Bazoongas. Someone's first text in over a month. Texas says, Mark Pope, boy, I am sure on the bad side of Big Blue Nation. What should I do? Ooh, I know. I'm going to publicly pursue Deshane Montgomery and get everyone excited about a guy that's currently on Louisville's campus. It doesn't matter that Louisville's really good at closing. I'll get him and I'll make sure that BBN loves me again. No way this backfires. Mark Pope is some questionable decision-making is being done with Mark Pope, and I think that that's becoming more and more apparent. By the way, did you see that Andy Bashir successfully bullied UK into not giving Mitch Barnhart the $1 million golden parachute job?
I did.
Shouldn't have taken that, but it's a good thing. People should not have $1 million do-nothing jobs. Not just a UK thing, just in general. Little Dumper said if you look at Mr. Beast's eyes in pictures, he's dead behind the eyes and definitely made a deal with the devil. If I'm making a deal with the devil, I want to live a life a little bit better than Mr. Beast. You know?
Yeah.
I can see why he's unhappy. Texas Barnhart getting stuffed into a locker by society brings a smile to my face. Same. Texter says he's crafty, must be a white guy. He's not. Deshane Montgomery is very much not a white guy. I think he's a good player, and I do think that he's crafty. Texas, the fam and I are going to the Balloon Glow tonight. We'll report back tomorrow, boss. Get this done. I've been at Kesey. Get it done. Texas L&N Word Stadium.
Terrible.
God. Oh, what are we going to do with this? Texter says Akisi might be a reclass candidate. I think that's the general thought. I think that's what our boy Ryan Keeling was saying when he texted in and said, we may have a better backup center coming. I mean, that's not a bad deal. You bring in a 5-star freshman center. You let him play behind arguably the best center in college basketball for a year. Hopefully you bring him back for a solid deal for a year or two, and then he takes the reins.
It's a risk, but
of course it's a risk. But I mean, I think if you're paying him,
I was just like, how much are you gonna pay a kid to reclassify and sit on the bench?
It's a great question.
With no guarantee he'll be back.
Maybe the better question is, what's the minimum that a kid would take to reclassify and then sit on the bench, especially when he fills the biggest position of need in college basketball right now? I don't have the answers. All I know is I'd like to have him. Texas, I think they're trying to get this 5 center to reclass. Yep. Texas Roman, the 2027 center visiting this evening, is rumored to be reclassing to 26. Everyone's saying the same thing. Texas, I would take Wara on this team. Oh, Jordan Wara would be a good one.
Do you feel Isaac McNeely was an elite shooter for us here at U of L? I agree for his career as a whole. He's really dang good, but would you say he is the elite here? No.
I don't think you can call him an elite shooter.
No. Very good shooter.
What did he end up shooting percentage-wise?
36?
I was going to say it was probably like in the 35
got it up.
range.
I know he got it up to like 33 at one point.
He shot, I think about 39.5%.
Yeah, he got it up at the end of the season. He started striking them down.
Still lower than his last 2 years. Yeah, I don't think you can say he's an elite shooter. He was a very good shooter, which I think got lost because of the fact that he didn't score quite as much as we were hoping.
I don't think he got enough credit for being a tough shot maker, but that doesn't make you an elite shooter.
Texas Louisville native Jacob Abel was announced for the Indy 500 again this year. Unfortunately, he was the one-car bump during qualifying last year and did not make the race. He was on a trash team with a terrible car last year and is looking for a rebound performance this year after switching to his family team, which typically competes in the lower divisions. Let's go.
Nice.
Let's go, Jacob Abel. Let's make it done. Texas, Akizi was in school with my younger cousin at St. Raphael, and he couldn't walk and chew gum then. I mean, I feel like that's every 11, 12, 13-year-old that's 7 foot. It's tough to get acclimated to that ridiculously large body when you're at that age and you're just kind of learning how to function to begin with. Texas Roman might want to start working on a guide to healing long-term injuries because I can hear Mike's ACL screaming from here with all that dancing.
Yeah, I've actually looked into this, some long-term, making sure all of my, tendons are good in the long term.
I mean, could you be like a consultant though for? I mean, Cason Pryor, tough recovery. Jaden Quaid stuff. Maybe some of these local schools.
He didn't do it. They didn't do their box lifts.
I think they can bring you in.
You got to stand on the box. Touch your left foot down. Heel. Get back up there. Hold the weight after a while.
Texas Mike, I did an internship at U of L at Papa John's. The Papa snitched on me for sleeping in the cafeteria while on my lunch. For context, I was third shift at UPS, then working at Papa at like 8 a.m. while going to school full time. My boss at the time didn't care, but told me I needed to sleep in my car or off property because it was a bad look. Needless to say, I did not end up working there full time after my internship. And was the Papa hanging out in the cafeteria?
What was he doing?
Was he snitching on you himself? That seems very strange. It's a good story, though. Texter says, what is this? Top status. Helen Keller, 1 out of 1 autograph card just sold for $3,551 on eBay. This was not what I was expecting this tweet to be. I don't know what you want me to do with this. The text line and the YouTube chat have never set us up worse than they have today. Like they are
tough day.
They are daring us to do something very stupid. Texas, did Papa John not drive into Cardinal Stadium in the Camaro pretty regularly? I was pretty young, but I've always remembered it as something that happened basically every game. It happened at least twice based on the videos that we've gotten today. Texas, I'm so glad that Zugris is gone so I don't have to hear Roman put the accent on his name. Do it again.
Vangelis Zugris.
like a girl who just got back from studying abroad in Italy. Like, we get it, girl. You know how to say pasta shapes properly.
God forbid I pronounce our players' names correctly.
I do.
Sheesh.
I had friends that did this where they would do like a semester abroad and they'd come back and they'd be like, I've got to have some bruschetta. It's like, it's not bruschetta, actually. It's bruschetta. Bruschetta. Take us Papa John's jersey patches next year. No. All right, let's make some picks for tonight's games. Our picks and our Big X Big Bets are brought to you via Chad Hennessy from InsureMax, proudly serving the Louisville area for over 25 years. Call Chad Hennessy at InsureMax today. The number 502-479-4085. Roman, 2 NBA games tonight.
Yes.
We've got the Knicks, 3 NBA games tonight. We've got the Knicks at the Hawks. Knicks are a 1.5-point road favorite in Atlanta. The series is tied at 1 game apiece. Who you got?
Give me the Hawks.
I think the Knicks are going to win.
Give me the Hawks in this one. But my Chad Hennessy InsureMax Big X Big Bet of the day for this game is the over 214.5 in it.
Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs on the road against the Raptors. They're a 2.5-point favorite to get the series to 3-0. Do they get it done?
They get the job done.
I think they get it done as well. And then the Nuggets against the Timberwolves. It's been maybe the best first 2 games of any of the series out there. Denver's a 2.5-point road favorite. Who you got?
I have no idea. No idea. I'm going to rock with Denver in this one.
I'm going to take the T-Wolves.
I think this one's just going to keep going back and forth.
And Edwards holds serve at home, and then the Nuggets take game 4 to make it a very interesting 2-2 series. All right, I'm off to T-ball. Let's go Blue Jays. Check out John Rutherford. We got the 3-man front up next, talking all things Louisville Kings. I'm out tomorrow.
Give me the under 8.5 in the Reds Tigers for that's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Yeah, we don't play tonight.
They're going to move that lineup.
Yeah. I'm out tomorrow. Roman Kelly in the house. He'll
Matt
talk
Childers
to you then.
with me tomorrow. Maybe Rashawn Myers as well.
Boom. Go Cards.
Go Cards.
The Mike Rutherford Show was brought to you by